You are kidding me. I got it fixed now. Okay, that'll get cut out of tonight's show. Guys, one day I'll be a professional. One day you'll be proud to say I watched this show. In the meantime, you have to say it like this. It's with much fear and trepidation that we take the microphone and see whether or not it works. Guys, welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. I appreciate you joining me and having so much patience. I had to redo a bunch of sound stuff. And apparently I didn't figure it out. So oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm not messing with the sound. You get what you get today. I'm not changing anything. So I'm not even looking at it. Oh gosh, is it really? Oh, anyway, whatever. Is it still quiet? That's impossible. That's impossible. Oh, I know. Let me try one more thing here. I appreciate you guys helping, hanging with me here. Let me try one thing and see if that helps at all. I don't know if that helps. I don't know if that helps. But we'll try something. I'll get it right. I thought we tested it today, Daisy, and had it working. But if not, whatever. I got a lot to do today. So if you have to crank the volume up, crank it up. We will get it resolved one way or the other over time. I thought we fixed it for today. We do have a matinee edition for you today, and I hope you guys I hope you can get used to the new time on the matinee days. Here's what I want to do. Yesterday, Tucker came out with what I thought was a pretty powerful episode. We have in this country for a very, very long time, we've had to struggle with a leadership class that will lie to your face. They will come and tell you one thing, and then they will do something completely opposite. They will come and earn your votes. They'll say, no new foreign wars. And then as soon as they get in office and they don't have to run for election again, foreign wars all over the place, left and right, whatever they want to do. They will come to you and say, no new taxes. And as soon as they get in office, boom, you get a tax raise. They will come to you and say, hey, XYZ, whatever. They just don't care. They just don't care. There's no honor. There's no integrity. There's no honesty. And there's really, you kind of feel at a loss. There's nothing you feel like you can do about it. There's nothing you feel like you can do to fix the problem. We get a little hopeless. And when we get hopeless, things get particularly terrifying. And it's sort of that problem that we approach every issue with, right? A lot of people say, well, that Barron, he's a liar about what time Tyler turned himself in. Hey, am I? Do you trust your government? Do you trust your government every single time? Do you trust that your government is telling you the truth when they do an investigation? I'm not just talking about JFK. I'm talking about average, everyday investigations. I'm talking about every time someone is charged with a crime. Do you automatically trust them? Because if so, why do we have jury trials? Why would we have a jury of our peers sit in to determine whether Tyler Robinson is innocent or guilty or not guilty if the government never gets it wrong? If the government never gets it wrong, why do we care? If the government never gets it wrong, why do we have jury trials? If the government never gets it wrong, why do we have rules of evidence? If the government never gets it wrong, why do we do these things? And it's not just criminal trials. I'm going to go through several things today, but I want to start with one area in particular because it's really frustrating. It becomes frustrating. There is a very real phenomenon. And I'm gonna use Julian Dory's interview that I did earlier this week. I'm going to use this as sort of a jumping off point because this infectious nature of the government lying to you has now filtered down to government affiliated organizations and individuals. Now they're lying to you. And so I want to open with that and have you understand this is a problem at a cellular level, a very cellular level, a very granular level. So I want to open here because this is how we closed. I don't know, close. This is the last few minutes of the program, though. This was Julian Dory and me over, well, it was really last week, but it aired on Monday.
Look at things like that. I think it's weird. I think it's weird that Nate Walker, in the immediate aftermath, was picked up on video upstairs. I mean, this is the guy who was carrying Charlie's binders, and he's, helping. I don't even know why he's there. He's only been working there a month or so, I think. But he shows up and he's helping Charlie with his binders, and he has a little passenger bag with him. And then a minute or so after the event.
Okay, I can't fix the echo. I have no idea why YouTube's doing echoes on me, but I can't fix that. So if it's so echoey you can't possibly hear it, I'll read the transcript. That sounds pretty boring. But if you can hear it with the echo, stop commenting about the echo. If you cannot understand it, let me know. All right. But other than that, we're going to keep going.
Everything is chaotic, and Adam Bartholomew from Life is Driving YouTube channel is live streaming, and he's flipping his camera around. And Nate Walker's up on the roof. Like, why is Nate Walker on the roof? What's he doing up there? Where was he? Was he taking a leak? Maybe it was innocent, but I think this is where silence really works against TPUSA. Because in a situation like that, the first time somebody asked a question about why was Baron Coleman doing this, I would say, well, Baron Coleman was doing this because of
That's right.
I drank 4 cups of coffee on the way in, and I had to go to the bathroom.
Nothing to hide.
The event had started. I'd already done my job. I'm wandering around campus. What are you talking about? But the silence, when these issues are raised, they pick and choose which ones they're going to address. And when they choose to address it, they do it in such a condescending, nasty, mean way that it's like a cornered dog. Like, stop attacking us. These are legitimate questions. It's a murder. A lot of people. The reason you have a job, the reason all these people at TPUSA are employed, there's 700 plus employees. The reason there's 4 different TPUSA organizations, the reason there's a podcast, the reason you guys are all at that event that day is because a lot of people really love Charlie Kirk, really deeply loved him. They were willing to travel a long way to go see him. They turned out at college campuses. They turned out in arenas. They sold out places. They bought his books. They made him a multiple-time best-selling author. These questions are coming out of love. Answer the freaking questions. Answer the questions. These people want to know why Charlie's dead. And you sitting back and acting high and mighty and being condescending and being acting like you're above everybody else, and you don't have to answer anything. And anyone asking questions evil or corrupt or demonic or has bad motives, that reflects so poorly on those people. That's not the posture to take when someone that was truly loved by a lot of people, by millions of people, is tragically died, and it looks weird. Answer the questions.
I completely agree. It is a case study and PR disaster that will probably make an actual case study at some of these colleges when they study in business school in the future, and it should. But how do you think the prosecution is going to go about proving their case at trial?
I don't think they can.
You don't think they can?
I don't think you can prove a case unless they're sitting back on evidence unless they gave all of their weakest evidence at the probable cause hearing. I don't.
I appreciate you guys being my test kit. I changed something, and along the way it fixed it, and then it broke it again. So I appreciate you guys. While I'm playing that, I'm messing with settings over here trying to fix it. I have no idea what changed. Let's do this real quickly. I know this is terrible to do live, and I always tell people just do the show. Don't worry about it. But is the sound higher? If the sound is higher, that is good. If my microphone sound is higher, because I did switch that. And then I will try to fix the echoes as we go. Some setting in here has been changed, and I don't know why. I don't know why it's been changed. Okay, sound is not higher. Great. All right. Let me try it. I'm just going to try that, and if it works, it works. All right. The point I'm making here, if you guys can hear it over the echo, the point I'm making here is the only reason these guys have jobs is because a lot of people really love Charlie Kirk, and a lot of people were willing to sacrifice a lot to go see him. A lot of people were willing to travel a very long way to go see Charlie Kirk. A lot of people were willing to jump on an airplane, get a hotel room. A lot of people were willing to drive hundreds of miles to go see Charlie Kirk. Nobody was willing to do that before. Nobody was willing to do that to go see Andrew Colvette. Nobody was willing to do that to go see any of these other people. The only people anybody wanted to see was Charlie Kirk. That's it. That's the only thing to see. And if they if they cannot recognize that reality, then they don't understand, they don't have the ability and the right to stand in front of us on a daily basis and be heard. They lose that right, and I don't know any other way to put it. You have to be, your power to be heard comes from somewhere. Your power to be heard comes from somewhere. Your power to be heard, Blake. Your power to be heard, Andrew. Your power to be heard, Gary. Your power to be heard, all you 92 people on the group chat. The only reason you guys are speaking and anyone's listening to anything you say is because Charlie Kirk lived and died. And a lot of people really loved him. But that love is translated into an action. They want to know what happened. And they have every right to ask the questions. You don't get a right to sit back and just say, hey, you have to get over it. You have to go over it. You have to get over it. You have no right to ask any questions. You just must take the word of the FBI. You must take the word of the Utah State Bureau of Investigation. You must take the word of the Utah prosecutors. You must take the word of TPUSA headquarters. That is an untenable position to put people in. And it is a symptom, not a cause, of why everything's breaking down. That's the problem. Why is Tucker starting a third party? Because you keep talking down to people. You keep talking down to people who want to know who killed Tucker's friend Charlie. Why is Tucker starting a third party? Because you guys will not answer the questions about why it's necessary to go to foreign wars that we don't feel particularly fearful of. I don't particularly fear Iran. I don't. I don't think Iran has capabilities to reach the United States. I don't vacation in Iran. I don't care what goes on over there. Genuinely. I might care. I might pray for the people. But do I want to launch a war against them? No, absolutely not. Do I want my son drafted to go fight that war? No, absolutely 100% not. No. And to the extent that we're just being told, shut up. Your questions mean you're evil. Your questions mean you're awful. Well, guess what? If that's where we're going to go a different route. We're going to try a different party. We're going to try to leave you guys in the dust. Oh, but Baron, if you do that, the Democrats might win. So what? I went and voted today. I did not think I was going to. I waited all through early voting. It was a Republican primary and then the county general election. I had kind of in my mind said, I'm not even going to bother with voting ever again. It doesn't matter. They don't listen. They don't care. But the reality is my congressman really sucks. His name's Andy Ogles, and he's a turd. He's an absolute turd. And I wanted to go vote against him. Because every time he opens his mouth, turds fall out. He loves taking money from people that love and support our greatest ally. He loves voting for our greatest ally. He loves voting for all this crap that I can't stand. And so I'm done with him. I want to I'm not going to do it quite this second because I want to give you another symptom of what I'm seeing here. And I'm going to try to fix the echo next time I play a clip. I'm not playing one yet. But Daisy's on here and she's going to help me. And when I change the settings, she's going to whisper in my ear, that did it. You fixed it. But I just want to show you what I'm talking about because this level of discourse is base. It is low. It is so beneath the dignity of common discussion. This is below anything that should be taking place in public. And I cannot, frankly, let it go without passing. Last night, we took apart Gary. He is, frankly, I very much suspect his IQ levels are capable of supporting life. I genuinely do. For example, last night we posted his, Candace-stan stats. He's a Candace. I mean, just a total Candace, a Candace fan. He's a Standis. Posted over 1,000 times. Today, this guy's IQ is so low, he gets on Grok and says, Grok, did I really post about Candace 1,000 times? And Grok was like, no, Mr. Bear, you in fact did not. You only posted about her about 100 times. Well, the problem with that is, He doesn't understand the limitations of Grok. Grok does not have access to the full library of Twitter. Grok only has access to a sample of Twitter. So you can't go ask Grok how many tweets in the world yesterday were there. He doesn't know. Grok doesn't know. Gary's too stupid to realize that. He's also too stupid to realize that just yelling and crying doesn't work. That's not good logic. Here is Gary yesterday. Just a reminder. Baron Coleman is lying to you about Tyler Robinson being in custody before 9 p.m. on September 11th. Well, we'll go over that in just a second, Gary Bear. We'll go over that in just a second. I'm not going to make the whole case. I'm using this as an example of what we no longer have to put up with. We're done with this type of logic. We have to move beyond this. Gary, this type of logic is why Tucker's starting a third party, and a lot of people are going to follow. You're doing this. Andrew Colvett, you're the cause of it. Blake Sneff, you're the cause of this. Donald Trump, you're the cause of this. Everybody pushing the Fed slop, you're the cause of this. We're tired of this level of discourse. He being me, he created this narrative to try to trick you into believing the Discord confession Tyler sent at 7:57 was somehow fabricated. I want you, as you read this, to say, does he address any point I've ever made on this issue? Or is he just saying, nuh-uh, that's not true. That's not true. It's like listening to my 5- and 7-year-old argue from the back of the minivan. And Tyler's arrest was 4 a.m. September 12th, hence evening of his arrest. See included warrant. Yeah, Gary, I'm questioning that. That's the point. I'm questioning the facts as you are putting them forward. I have raised a number of issues on this. I'm going to play a clip of it in a second. We have multiple testimonies in court documents confirming the attempted interrogation wasn't until 6:25 on the 12th. That is not true. You don't. If you did, you would cite to them. You don't cite to them because it's not true. You had one guy say that he thought he was not in custody until 9 o'clock because someone told him that. That's all we have. There's not one person that said he was Mirandized on 6:25 p.m. on the 12th. Not one person in court. Not one. Not one person under oath has made that statement. Just more lies to podslop and sucker you out of views and super chats. All right, well, let's go through this for just a second. Because what I'm saying is this is the type of argument. I'm going to use this clip to fix the audio once and for all. I'm going to use the clip to fix this audio once and for all. Because I know the two settings I have to change. I just have to play with them. But when I play this, I want you to listen to the long litany of reasons I give, all of which have gone unaddressed from everyone who's commented on this. Not one person who's commented on this that I've seen has gone through any of these points and said, I disagree with you on that particular point. Here's why I see that point differently. All they say is, That's not going to cut it. That's insufficient for me. And that is what is causing people to leave the mainstream uniparty. That's what's pushing people out to the edges. People don't like being talked down to, Blake. They don't like being talked down to, Andrew. They don't like being talked down to, Gare Bear. We're sick of it. We have a certain level of dignity as a human being that when we have concerns, we get to raise them. And we don't get to get yelled at because of our concerns. That's the whole system of government we have. That we are sovereign individual human beings with autonomy and concerns and lives, and that those lives have value, and that those lives with value have concerns emanating from those values. And when we raise those concerns, we don't want them dismissed. Why is it that the only concerns that get listened to are from weirdos? Oh, I have a concern. I want to wear a furry costume into Hooters, and they won't let me. Well, okay. I guess that's a concern. Take it up with Hooters. Hooters is a private industry. If they don't want you, they don't have to have you. But why is it when we raise legitimate concerns about, well, should you be drafting our children and slaughtering them in the kitty litter box over in the Middle East? Well, shut up, bigot. Okay. Are you sure you didn't set that guy up? He doesn't look like he killed that guy. All the evidence that we can see seems to suggest he didn't. Check out A through double Z. Shut up. Shut up, bigot. What, do you hate Jewish people? Huh? What? What are you talking about? I'm curious why a 30-06 didn't go through his neck. What does that have to do with religion? Nothing whatsoever. And I am just blowing a gasket over this nonsense. I am blowing an absolute gasket over this. It doesn't matter what logic you bring to the table. It doesn't matter how many good ideas you bring to the table. They just dismiss it, call you names, and go to war. That's it. That's all they want to do. Dismiss it, call you names, go to war. And I am so sick and tired of it that when I saw Tucker last night and I watched that clip, an hour and a half or so speech he gave, I watched it this morning and I thought, yes, finally, somebody's saying something that actually makes sense. We don't have to put up with this, Tucker. You're right. We don't. This absolutely is not something we should tolerate. I apologize I'm being loud. Luckily, the speakers aren't working today. So you don't have to worry about it. All right, now let's get this sound fixed once and for all. I think I figured it out. If it echoes, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I see what's happening. I just don't know how to get it to not happen. Now, we'll try it again, see what happens. Here is the litany. I'm going to play it for like 10 seconds, then we're going to see if it still echoes. And if it does, I'm going to make a change and play it for 10 seconds because I want you to hear this without the echo. I just got to figure out how to do that. I don't know why this happened. But I want to play this because this sets out I'm just using this as one example. Just one example. There are thousands of examples just like this where you raise a series, a litany of decent, fundamentally sound arguments where you say, hey, these 6 things appear wrong here. And they don't address any of the 6 of them. They just push you aside. Shut up, bigot. We're going to war.
Wasn't there also, like, with these Discord messages that did look, some of them highly suspect?
Is that echoing?
No, it sounds great.
Right on our end. I'll see what they say, if it echoes or not. Good. Oh, great. I think we fixed it.
You're a little lower, but let's just
You don't have an echo. I want you to listen.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it without the echo. Thank you.
From the get-go to me, but wasn't there something where some of them were allegedly sent after he allegedly had been arrested, according to what the story is?
So
Yeah,
so there's a lot of debate on that. I was looking at the filings and I noticed in the defense's filing that they made along the way, one of their filings, they referenced a timestamp when Tyler invoked his 5th Amendment right to silence, but they didn't put a date on it. It just said 6:25 p.m. And so I thought, what was 6:25 p.m.? Where was that? So I was looking for context clues in that statement. And he made a comment about the lawyer's office that I want is closed for the night. He said, I'm looking for a lawyer here. His name is XYZ, whatever his name was. And it looks to me like he's very clearly invoking his right to remain silent for the first time. If you assume that 6:25 is accurate, and I don't know why the defense would put the wrong time in there, so I assume it's accurate. You look and you say, well, there's really only 2 options of when that conversation could have taken place. It could have taken place on September 11th, which is a Thursday, which is the day he turned himself in, or it could have taken place on September 12th, which is a Friday, which is the day after he turned himself in. And even on the official narrative timeline, that 6:25 p.m. would be like 21 hours after he turned himself in. And so knowing those 2 facts, it has to be one of those 2 times, 6:25 on Thursday or 6:25 on Friday. Go back and look at the context again. I'm looking for a lawyer here named so-and-so. Well, here would have been Washington County. That's where he turned himself in because the lawyer he named was practicing in Washington County. He wasn't practicing in Utah County. He wasn't from Utah County. That's 4 hours away. Why would he say, I'm looking for a lawyer here? Then he says, my parents are trying to get in touch with him. His office is closed for the night. Closed for the night, not the weekend. If it's 6:30 on Friday, do you say the office is closed for the night? What lawyer opens up on Saturday morning? The fact that he's saying my parents are trying to get in touch with him means that he had just spoken with his parents and knew they were trying to get in touch with him and that his office was closed for the night. That's more consistent with a Thursday night where he had just spoken to his parents minutes before than it is Friday night where he hadn't spoken to his parents in 21 hours and has no idea what his parents have been doing for 21 hours. Maybe they did get in touch with a lawyer. Maybe they've already gotten him. Maybe his office isn't still closed for the night. We have no idea what's going on. So I looked at all those context clues and I raised the possibility that that conversation actually took place on Thursday, not Friday.
I'm going to pause it there. Was there anything in that litany? Because what I'm doing is exposing the dishonesty and the dishonor of the other side here. Is there anything in those 3 points I just raised that says, I'm lying to your face, I'm trying to trick you, I just want to make, I don't know. I honestly don't even know what his point, I guess get the views up or something? I understand views are a concern for him. Nobody watches his show. I don't particularly care about views. Whoever tunes in, right? That's largely irrelevant to what I'm trying to accomplish. I just really just want to find out who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why, and get on and conduct a show, have fun. We're not selling any merch. Well, we do sell merch, but that have almost given it away. We don't do any advertising. We don't. I mean, we just run the show. Is there anything in there though that doesn't make sense? Is there anything that you go, oh, that's so stupid? What do you mean close for the night? Of course that means close for the weekend, you big dummy Baron. What are you talking about? Everybody says when a bank is closed on Saturday and Sunday, when you talk about Friday, you say close for the night. Well, okay, well, I guess. Is there anybody who would say if you said here, you mean 4 hours away? Or at least address it. But no, instead it's just, you're a liar. Shut up. Get out of the way. You're a bigot. We're going to war. That's all that matters to these people. That's all that matters is just shut up. I don't want to address what you're saying. Shut up. We're going to war.
Well, if it took place on Thursday at 6:25, it took place an hour and a half before the Discord messages went out at 7:57.
Mm-hmm.
And so that led me to believe it's possible those Discord messages were fake. They weren't from him at all. And they're inconsistent with taking your right to remain silent. You're going to invoke the right to remain silent to the sheriff, but you're going to confess to anybody with a link to a Discord chat forever. That's going to be there forever.
Yeah, it's very
Anyone who ever gets that URL can log in and see your confession, but you don't want to confess, but you want to invoke your right to remain silent, and then go back to his text messages to Lance Twiggs. I intended to take this to my grave. Okay, well, you're taking it to your grave. You're talking to your alleged boyfriend about it. And then you go and confess to a Discord chat that you've not even met all these people in there. You don't even know who all these people are. It's totally inconsistent. So I looked at all that and I concluded that it very likely was a Thursday afternoon invocation of his Fifth Amendment rights, not a Friday afternoon invocation. And if that's the case, do we have any other context clues? Well, we didn't at the time, but a few weeks later, a couple months later, maybe a month or two later, the prosecution files an exhibit list. And on the exhibit list, they list out by bait stamp number the exhibits they tend to offer. One of those is Tyler Robinson in the Washington County Sheriff's Office on September 11th. That's the same bait stamp number that was cited in that original 6:25 p.m. timestamp. So I look at that and say, no brainer. Obviously, that was September 11th at 6:25 p.m. This is a huge problem. Third context clue came during the preliminary hearing. They wanted to show that his clothing when he turned himself in was consistent with what he was wearing on that day. So they wanted to show him at the Washington County Sheriff's Office in the maroon t-shirt. When they do, they zoom it in so you don't get the timestamp on that security footage. That was a big indication to me that very well could have been that. The fourth context clue is one of these press outfits in Utah. I don't know. I don't want to cite the one because I don't want to cite the wrong one, but one of the press outfits in Utah wanted to get a copy of the footage of him turning himself in. They wouldn't release it to him.
Do you think they'll release that at trial? Is that
I honestly don't know, because turning yourself in is not part of the crime. So they don't have to. You could convict him without turning that in. It's possible we'll never see that. And then they lied to the press and said that they had deleted it because it extended beyond the retention period.
The prosecution said that?
The Washington County Sheriff's Office said that. And then the Washington County Sheriff miraculously resigns in March of this year under a cloud of suspected bad behavior. And so I put all that together, 5-6 pieces of context clues, some of which are really solid, in my opinion, like the bait stamps number. And I think some of those Discord messages may have come after he turned himself in, which raises suspicion on every statement that he made about he did it.
It's me, so I'm biased. But that sounds pretty reasonable to me. Like, I listen to that and I think, you know what? You go, boy. You go. That sounded pretty reasonable to me. I gave logical explanations for why he probably was Mirandized on Thursday and not Friday, including the words he used, the lawyer he was looking for, the fact that it sounded like he had just talked to his parents moments before. My parents are trying to get in touch with this guy. Well, how do you know what your parents are trying to do 21 hours later? It sounded pretty reasonable. And so you go back to look at the way the other side addresses that, and it is a lack of dignity. It is a lack of dignity, and that's the problem. That is my theme for the day. It's a lack of dignity to be dismissive of someone when they raise these issues. Again, just a reminder, he's lying to you. Well, okay, I mean, you might disagree. That doesn't mean I'm lying. I just gave you a long laundry list of reasons why I am convinced that is so. That doesn't mean I'm lying because you disagree with me. That doesn't mean I'm lying. Doesn't mean I've been debunked or anything like that. I don't believe the Fed slop, Gary. That's the whole point of the show. I don't believe what they're saying. You can't just dismiss. And I'm using him as an example because he's an easy target. He's kind of large and low IQ. He's a very easy target. But this is what happens over and over. This is what happens on a daily basis, not only on social media, but on podcasts and other things as well. If you disagree with someone, that doesn't mean you're evil. It doesn't mean you're lying. It means I've looked at a set of facts and I've come to a different conclusion. That's fairly standard across the board. It's why, again, we have jury trials. It's why we have expert witnesses. It's why we call in witnesses and put them in the witness stand and have them raise their right hand and swear to tell the truth. It's why some people are convicted and some people are set free. Because people can look at the same set of facts and come to a different set of conclusions. Now, if you plant evidence, you're lying. If you tell me the screwdriver was on the roof, but it was really back in their apartment in Washington County, and we can prove that, and I don't know that we can. I'm just using a ridiculously obscene example, but that would be a lie. It's my opinion they're framing him as a patsy. But if I just go around saying they must be framing him as a patsy, and I have no explanation, no logical, rational basis for that whatsoever, then I'm a lunatic. I'm a lunatic. But if I go through and I start looking at things and saying, hey, that guy on the roof doesn't look like Tyler Robinson. He's not even wearing what he was wearing supposedly in the stairwell moments before. That guy had on blue jeans and a blue hat. The guy on the roof appears to be all black and have some kind of poncho on or something. Oh, that means I'm looking at the same set of facts and drawing a different conclusion. You're telling me there's a 30-06 on the roof. I see none. I don't see a 30-06. But you're telling me it's there. Well, I'm looking at the same set of facts and reaching a different conclusion. You're telling me he's Spider-Man down off the roof with a 30-06 in his hand. It looks like a towel. It bends. Oh, we come to a different conclusion. That doesn't mean I'm lying. That means I look at the same set of facts and I come to a different conclusion. They mean something different to me than they mean to you. In the end, Tyler Robinson either did it or he didn't. If one side knows for a fact, this is what a lying is, an intentional misrepresentation of the truth. If one side knows for a fact that the story they're putting forward is inaccurate, then yes, they're lying. For example, if someone knows Tyler Robinson didn't do this, like say the prosecutors knew for a fact they were in on part of a setup, then they would be lying as they put forward evidence. Or let's say for a fact, Andrew Colvette and Blake Neff and Erica Kirk knew for a fact Tyler Robinson was set up as a patsy. But they keep going out there and saying he did it. Then they're liars. But if they don't know that, if they really truly just looked at the evidence and said, you know what? I think the evidence is sufficient to make me believe he did it. Well, then they're not lying. They just have a different understanding. They just have a totally different understanding of the facts. I find that difficult to believe. I find it very difficult to believe. In fact, I find it difficult to believe anyone can look at all of the facts that we've covered over the last nearly 11 months. In 4 days, it'll be 11 months. I find it very difficult to believe anyone can look at all of what's happened over the last 11 months and go, yep, open and shut case. But I guess there are people out there. But if you look at the history of the government in this country, Martin Luther King Jr., JFK, RFK, it's not just assassinations, though. It's 9/11. It's Ruby Ridge. It's Waco. It's Operation Northwoods. I referenced that in the Julian Dory interview. Your government was going to blow up a passenger airliner and blame it on the Cubans. You know, are you aware of that? Most people aren't. You can look it up. It's true. The paperwork has become in the public domain. The government of the United States recommended blowing up a passenger airliner and blaming Cuba as a precondition to go to war, as a pretext to go to war. That's ludicrous. That's just absolutely ludicrous. There's Operation Mockingbird. They've been caught doing this, where they go out there and they plant intelligence assets in media organizations all over the place. And they do it in order to keep their message on track. In a country that has this sort of legacy, I think it's right that you look at a situation where a high-profile political target who is at odds with other high-profile political actors, where he dies, and the suspicious circumstances make it look like there might be something else at play. I think it's right to take a really keen look at it. Even if it turns out Tyler Robinson did it, it's nice to hold the government accountable and make them prove the case. I don't believe it's going to turn out that Tyler Robinson did it. And it's in that vein that Tucker Carlson last night took to his show, and I got a chance to watch it this morning, and laid out over the course of an hour and a half a 10-point plan that he thinks would get the country back on track. It sounded like the beginning of a third-party run, either for Tucker or someone he knows. This is sort of an Axios summary of it. But as you listen to this, it's hard to make Tucker Carlson out to be a lunatic for arguing for these things. They're going to. I've already heard people doing it. Oh, he's nuts. He's insane. He's crazy. Well, it's hard to make him insane and crazy when he's saying, hey, let's be fair. Let's be fair. Let's make sure that Jeffrey Epstein and Tyler Robinson and Bill Smith in Dubuque, Iowa, all get the same treatment. We cannot have a set of people who operate above the law. We can't have an intelligence community that's operating above the law, that's running guns or running drugs or anything else. These are things that the intelligence community has all basically admitted doing in the past. We can't have that, because if I run guns or I run drugs, I get arrested, go to jail for life or worse. So why can they do it? Why can they do it? They shouldn't be able to. Nobody should be able to. Anyone who's caught needs to be held accountable just like everyone else. If you're going to have leniency on a certain issue, everyone gets leniency. If you're going to be strict on a certain issue, everyone is held to that strict standard. That way, we feel like our citizenship has some sort of value. It means something. Here I am in the United States. I'm essentially an owner in the process, and it means something. There's something that's transmitted to me because of that. And in the United States, this thing that we're a part of, this part ownership we have, should come with some measure of sovereignty, meaning we should only answer to our own citizens. We should not worry about bankers in other countries. We shouldn't worry about governments in other countries. We need to disentangle our interests. If that means half the world goes up in flames, fine. Honestly, fine. I don't want people dying. I don't want bad situations. But I also don't want this perpetual system that, frankly, I was born into, because by the time I was, 10, 11 years old. We're going to war in the Middle East, and we've basically been at war ever since. I'm 46 years old. It's a little exhausting. You travel through airports, they're crumbling. You travel down roads, they're falling apart. You walk into elementary schools, they've got window units in them from the 1980s. Like, our infrastructure is in total free fall across the country. And we are sending literally trillions of dollars overseas to fight things that are not a threat to us. All this is a lack of sovereignty. It's a lack of sovereignty. And there should be some measure of productivity. I actually thought about this the other day before he said it. Not this particular way he said it. But I actually thought about, if America collapses and somebody comes 1,000 years from now and finds us, what will they think we did? Like, and I thought about this because I don't know if it's just my algorithm on social media or not, but I get fed a whole lot of ancient history stuff, particularly LIDAR, and where they're uncovering stuff in the Amazon and off the coasts, and they'll find pyramids, and they'll find societies and civilizations, and there's just things that we didn't even know were there. And we look back and we look at it and say, oh, it looks like this level of infrastructure would have supported 1 million people. That's a lot of people in the middle of the Amazon. We didn't know they were here. All we thought was a jungle. We didn't think anyone lived here. But here we have hundreds of structures, and it looks like farmland, and it looks like this would have been a really mighty civilization, one of the largest in the world at the time. Well, if we collapse, what are people going to think we did? And I look at it and I think, I don't know, really. I don't know if you come back and discover the United States. And that's now. Let's say 30, 40, 50 years from now. Well, if America is just pushed into being a service economy, if we don't actually construct anything, we don't build anything, what would people think we did? Sit around and get our nails done? I don't know. I don't know. And I think there has to be a push back to productivity. Work has meaning. Work has meaning. Even like what you think is tedium has meaning. It's defining. St. Jose Maria said, if you're a shoemaker, make shoes as if Jesus himself was going to walk into your shop and get that pair of shoes. Like, everything needs to be done well. Everything needs to be done well. The healthy situation. I mean, my goodness, go anywhere and look around. People are anything but healthy. And I think it starts with our food. Our food is horrific. Our food is largely horrific. Right now, there's a debate raging on social media between the establishment class and the populists. The populists are saying, why is a burrito $20? And the establishment class is saying, make your own burritos or get a better job. And stop complaining about $20 burritos. I look at it and say, why the hell is everyone eating burritos? It's a carb bomb. It's a carbohydrate bomb. That's all it is. It is a massive tortilla shell filled with rice and beans with a little meat sprinkled in for good measure. That is the fact that we're arguing over how much death should cost, over how much diabetes burritos should cost, is a real symptom of what's going on here. Burritos are fine. I'm not knocking burritos. I love a good burrito. But I think it's symptomatic that that's what we're arguing about. How much should a burrito cost? Yeah, burritos shouldn't go up in price 50% over a couple years. I agree with you. That's probably tragic. It's probably hard on people. But the populists are missing the point. They're unhealthy if that's what you're living off of. And the establishment class is missing the point, which is stop dismissing people's concerns. The point is they had the means to eat burritos a couple years ago, and now they don't. Because wages have not kept up with inflation, because we have printed money to do all these foreign wars, because we printed money because we shut down the economy over a cold and flu a few years ago and told everyone, don't worry about it, stay home, we'll just cut you a check. So both sides are missing it. Both sides are missing it. I'm skipping some of these. Like I skipped beautiful. Art's fine. Art's fine. You want to do art? I love art. I understand his point. Like concrete, brutalist architecture is terrible for the psyche and the mind. Yeah, whatever. And governments should be honest, but that's kind of everything we talk about every day. But this optimistic piece here, there are, and it's largely coming from the establishment uniparty class, there are serious efforts to degrade and erode your optimism. You notice it's the populists on both wings that are the optimistic ones. And it's the people in the middle that are like, Iran's going to get a nuclear weapon and end the world. I'm not sure that's true, sir. North Korea is about to launch a nuke against Japan. I don't really believe they're going to. China's going to take over the world. We need to go and just fight a war against them. Chinese people seem fine to me, guys. Long, proud people, nice civilization. Why is it our concern what Chinese people do in China? Like, this is the lack of optimism I'm talking about. It's a total lack of optimism. Why do I have 8 kids? I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. I look at the future and I think, you know what? Humans are really resourceful people. Humans are really resourceful people. And if they put their mind to something as a society, they can create a really great environment as friends, neighbors. You go to religious affiliated organizations together. You go to church in the morning, or you go to a religious school, and you have something in common with the people around you. And I know a lot of people like to make fun of sports and all that, but you know what? Go watch a bunch of 12-year-olds play baseball and tell me there's anything wrong with that. It is one of the most beautiful things to watch disparate children from different households that didn't know each other 3 months ago come together and turn a nice double play in the 4th inning when they're down 1 and they needed to get out of the inning. There's something gorgeous about that. They practice hard, they get better, they learn to manipulate their body in a way that they can perform, they can do something. I'm an optimist. I mean, I'm maybe eternally, failingly an optimist. Now, I say that as somebody who often says I'm the negative post on the battery. Every battery needs a positive and a negative post. Just because I'm negative in the moment doesn't mean I'm not optimistic in the long term. I'm negative in the moment because I'm negative against the people who are trying to stop the optimism in the long term. It would be wonderful to vote for a government that is optimistic, not in a BS way, but in a realistic way, and says, hey, we got real problems, but if we solve these, the future is uncapped, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to have a future of perpetual war. We don't have to have a future of perpetual inflation. We don't have to have a future where everybody's drug addicted and leaning over every time you go into downtown Philadelphia. Like, we don't have to have a future where everything crumbles around us. We can solve these issues. We're going to irritate a few people along the way. There might be some people groups in the Middle East or the Far East that war with each other from time to time. There might be some people groups in South America who war with each other from time to time. Just stay out of missile range of the United States and we'll let you have it. You guys get your problems worked out. We got our problems worked out in this country in the late 18th century and early 19th century, frankly, and the mid 19th century. I mean, from time to time it happens. People scuffle. But I'm a long-term optimist if people will stop the constant fear-mongering. Stop the constant, every time you turn around, someone's trying to tell you that you're going to be nuclear annihilated. We used to have school kids jumping under desks on a regular basis up until the 1980s because the Soviets might launch a nuke. As if half a pound of plywood and a little metal wired chair is going to save your life against a nuke. But we preconditioned like 2, 3, 4 straight generations of school children to be in constant fear for their lives at all times. And I know school shootings are tragic, but public school is like one of the safest places you can be. More people die from bookshelves falling on them every year than die in a public school. But there are people who are genuinely fearful every day that their kids get on the school bus because they're afraid somebody's going to come in and shoot up the school. It's statistically incredibly unlikely. Tragic when it happens, agreed. Absolutely agreed. But this fear porn, I see it all the time on social media. I actually got banned from one of my community groups a couple of years ago because someone was saying that they were being followed around by somebody with darker skin in a Walmart. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And they're like, well, I was walking down the watermelon and cherry aisle, and he was right there behind me. And then I was walking through the toilet paper, and he was still right there behind me. And then I went out to get in my car, and he was still right there. And I'm like, has it dawned on you he was shopping? Like, that's what he was doing? No, but you should have seen the way he was looking at me. Well, he might have just been wondering why you're going so slow looking back at him. They kicked me out of the group for that because I refused to accept that women were getting kidnapped in a suburban Walmart in Nashville. I said, just give me one news article in the last 5 years where this has happened in Nashville. Just one. Just give me one. And I'll say, okay, maybe the guy was looking at you funny. But a population in perpetual fear cannot be optimistic. It cannot be optimistic. And the uniparty, the establishment uniparty class, keep you in perpetual fear. And we got to get out of that cycle. We've got to get out of that cycle. And there has to be some measure of unification here in the United States. There has to be some way of assimilating people into some semblance of a community. We cannot live, we cannot live in this constant state of us versus them every time you turn around. I say this all the time, but you have more in common with your neighbor. It doesn't matter who your neighbor is. It doesn't matter if they have purple hair and voted for Kamala Harris. It doesn't matter if they're a Buddhist and just off the boat from Thailand. You have more in common with that neighbor than you do Donald Trump or Joe Biden or J.D. Vance or Gavin Newsom or AOC. That person shops in the same Walmart you go to. That person sends their kids to the same school you go to. Their kid plays ball on the same ball fields your kid play on. You guys go to the same parks and play on the seesaw if those are still allowed. You have more in common with that person. You guys may not even speak the same language. They may be so fresh off the boat. You have nothing in common with these people who reside in Washington, D.C. Nothing. Nothing. Once they've been elected and are serving their second, third, fourth term, out of touch. Once they ascend to be appointed to a cabinet official position or a president or a vice president, it's not the same. They don't drive down your street. If they do, they've got Secret Service protection, security, multiple SUVs, guys with machine guns under their jacket. The guy fresh off the boat from Thailand, he doesn't have any of that. He just wants a good night's sleep, a decent job, a full belly, and happy kids. That's all he wants. And you and he have a lot in common. You and he have a lot in common. And we have to get back to this, where not everyone down the street is some sort of an enemy. They might have a different political philosophy. They might have a different idea for how governance should go. I'm actually optimistic, more optimistic today than I was last week about the potential of a third party in this country. My fear for a third party was that it would just be like extreme Republican or extreme Democrat. But if you could gather around just a few fundamental ideas and say, guess what? We're going to kick out all these establishment people. We're going to elect a whole slate of people under this. And then we'll argue amongst ourselves on those little tiny issues that don't really matter. We'll argue amongst ourselves, but we'll do it from the perspective of these philosophies, these ideals on trying to unify, on trying to be healthy, on trying to not be so concerned with what's going on across a 1,000-mile ocean. We'll let those people worry about their concerns, and we'll worry about our concerns. The political parties exist just to perpetuate themselves. Go look at the planks of the political platforms from the early 1990s or the early 1960s. This is just 30 or 60 years ago. They look nothing like they do today. The Democrat platform from 1960, let's say, looks nothing like the Democrat platform of today. The Republican Party platform of 1960 looks nothing like the Republican Party platform of today. Because the reality is all they do is exist to perpetuate power. And so as people groups change and they have different ideas, they sort of move in lockstep to try to capture 50 plus 1%. But after they have it, they're going to do the same thing. They're going to serve the same master. They're going to look for corporations and foreign governments to tell them what to do. Yeah, we told you we would do this, but don't worry about that. This is in your best interest. Trust us. Trust us. All right. And I'm sorry, I look at something like what's going on in the Charlie Kirk case, and it's directly tied to that. It's directly tied to that. It's the same mentality. Shut up. You're lying. We hate you. Why? Why? Because I have legitimate questions about what's going on in this world? You think I'm lying and you hate me? Okay. Okay. All right. I want to show you a few pictures. I want to show you a few pictures of Officer Bagboy. We're going to look at Officer Bagboy here. I want you guys to see if you see anything that would lead you to believe this man's body camera is dying. Just take a look. This is Bagboy. These are pictures I took from the Life is Driving video. This in the middle of his body is the body-worn camera footage, or the body-worn camera. I'll show you. Just look right now. We'll go over in just a second how you know it's dying, but see if you see anything. This kind of dark gray, almost black device that's right in the middle of his chest. Here's another image of Officer Bagboy. I'll back it up a little bit so it's not so pixelated. That's him right there. Again, a little better picture. Do you see anything on this body-worn camera that tells you that thing's about to die? Just flipping through the pictures here. We have lots of pictures of Officer Bagboy. Go back to this one because I think it's probably this is probably the cleanest one. I don't know what the PT standard is at the UVU police school, but not very high. I have a feeling I could outrun Bagboy if I needed to. I don't know. I mean, maybe I could. Maybe he's a fast little feller. So let's go back if we can. We've looked at this once before, but now we've seen the pictures. Let's go back and refresh ourselves on when the battery is dying. This is the enhanced low power warnings. Warnings of low battery capacity using the battery LED and audio signals. The infield battery LED is green above 66, yellow at 66, and red below 33%, and blinking red and yellow when critically low. Don't worry about the audio down there below, but just, okay, we know we're looking for LED. Let's take another look here and see if we can figure out where in the LED we would find this. So let's go down to page 5 here. And let's get a little better glimpse of particularly where we should be looking for this LED. Oh, no. Oh, I got to watch an ad. Great. No, skip ad. Okay, perfect. Okay. Here is your battery LED. You see this large circle that goes all the way around the ring here in the middle, and see how it's green right now? That's the battery LED. There's your on-off indicator here at the top. Here's your camera lens. We go down to page 6 here, and it tells us the function of the LED. And it talks about the battery should be green if it's over 40, yellow if it's between 20 and 30, red below 20%. Now, I want to go back. Now that you know where you're looking, I want to look again. Does it look like Officer Bagboy's body cam footage is about to die? That giant red thing in the middle, that circle in the middle should be red. That giant red thing in the middle, the circle in the middle should be red. Do you see a giant red LED screen here in the middle? Does anybody see any giant red low battery warning at all on this guy? Anywhere. You can actually see the LED ring right there. It's not on. We were told his battery died right before he showed up. We were told his battery died right as he got to the top of the screen. Yes, I know this is pixelated. I'm grabbing it from a... But I'm sorry. There's no big red circle saying this thing's about to die. Keep in mind, this battery is designed to last 12 hours. Designed to last 12 hours. And if it's under 20%, which 20% of 12 hours would be what? Like a couple of hours? 2.5 hours? When you get under a couple of hours, this thing should be red. When you get under 3 or 4 hours, it should be yellow. Doesn't even look like it's on to me. I don't know if it's on or not, but it doesn't look like it's on to me. So if we raise the question, hey, why is his LED screen not red? I think at that point we're owed an answer. Well, it's not red because he had it operating in stealth mode. I don't know. But what you can't do is just say, shut up. Tyler Robinson did it. 30-06, Losi Center, screwdriver, DNA on the trigger. Why is his body cam not red? He said his body cam died. Well, shut up. That's unacceptable to me. Or if you're unwilling to answer the question, then you can't sit around and get mad as we start adding this to the list of coincidences that just doesn't add up. This is a long list that doesn't add up. All the items on this list do not equal Tyler Robinson did it, open and shut case. Why are we even having a trial? Officer Bagley's body cam footage supposedly died, and it doesn't look like it was red or flashing red or yellow or frankly green for that matter. Was it even on? I think we're owed an explanation. I've heard a lot of discussion about this, so I want to play for you the answer. The answer. I thought there would have been a schedule filed. There was not. Daisy digs through the transcript and gets us an answer of when things are going to be coming up. Someone asked me this the other day, and I see a lot of online discussion that are getting it, the people getting it wrong. And so we might as well just set the record straight. Here is the schedule coming up in the trial.
One moment, Mr. Gernander. I'm trying to get logistics so we can move this along. Mr. Gernander, turning to you.
Judge, if we were able to collect the transcript Monday, if we had 2 weeks from Tuesday, we could have our motion in. I believe that's the 28th of July.
All right. So state's briefed by the 28th of July, assuming that they can get the transcript by Monday. All right. State's brief. Okay. Ms. Visser.
We need 2 weeks after that. So August 11th, I believe, is 2 weeks.
All right. And
So what they've just said is the state is going to get the transcript back, and they would have their brief filed by July whatever. That's already been filed. Visser, the lawyer for Tyler Robinson, said, okay, if they file by that date, give us 2 weeks. We'll have our brief in by August 11th. Well, it's August 6th today, which means by 5 days from today, we should get the defense brief, as long as they don't file for some sort of enlargement of time in which to file their brief. This has been I hate to go over the tedium, but this stuff matters. This stuff matters because everybody's just throwing out random dates. But I wanted to get it on the record.
And to the state, if you wish to file a reply, when
It would be 7 days after that, Judge. So the 18th.
August 18th.
So what we can expect coming up is on or before August 11th, we can expect the defense's summation of the preliminary hearing and all the evidence and why they don't think it should be going to trial. by the 18th, we'll get a reply from the state. At that point, what can we expect?
All right. And for oral argument, what I can set is September 1st in the morning. Let me take a quick
And there's your oral argument on September 1st.
glance here at the calendar. I'm trying to keep that close in time so we can move this along for all reasons previously stated. And we can start at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on September 1st. How does that look for the parties?
So at 10 a.m. on September 1st, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 God's Time, 12 Eastern, we can expect they will reconvene, absent, again, some change in the schedule. We can expect that they will reconvene, and they will have their oral arguments. They will orally summarize what is contained in the brief and what took place at the hearings. I think that's pretty good intel, because right now everybody's just throwing out dates. I see even relatively informed people. Your humble host has fallen victim to this, saying, I don't know, I think it's supposed to all be in by the 1st. Well, there has to be a date. There has to be some kind of a date where this stuff is actually settled. And so we can expect that schedule in all likelihood to hold. August 11, we should hear by the defense. So by next week, we should know the defense's position on the preliminary hearing. Which arguments do they feel like are the strongest? Those will probably be the ones they lead with. Which arguments do they think are the weakest? Those will be the ones buried in the middle. Which arguments do they think are the next strongest? Those will be the ones they finish on. And then we will get a reply from the state. The state will look at theirs and say, they're idiots, and here's why. Now, the burden's on them, so they get the last word, whatever. And then we will come and do an oral argument, an oral closing, so to speak, of the preliminary hearing, where they'll summarize everything that's taken place to date. I imagine you'll hear from the defense first and last. I mean, the prosecution first and last in that as well. Again, it's their burden to meet. So that is sort of the timeline that's coming up. That's sort of the timeline that's coming up. One more thing I want to show you here. And I promise we will get the volume fixed for next time. I told you that last time, and I thought we did. I found this interesting. You guys remember I said I talked to a student at UVU not terribly long ago, and the student was affiliated with TPUSA, and they said that the TPUSA affiliated students, by and large, 80% or so, sort of believe Tyler Robinson did this. And the people who are not affiliated with TPUSA, just average run-of-the-mill students on UVU campus, they by and large don't believe Tyler Robinson did it. They just find it an impossible, fantastical story. But we haven't really had any, I don't want to call this empirical evidence, but we haven't had really any examples on the record that we've been able to look at. I talk to people all the time in the community. I talk to people by the phone. I run into people places, and I ask them, who do you think killed Charlie Kirk? And I would say it's probably 50-50 from the people I run into. And I don't argue with them because that's not my position. But about half the people are like, oh, they already arrested the guy. Didn't he do it? And then about half the other people are like, I don't know if that kid did it. It just doesn't seem right to me. I don't think that makes sense, what they're saying. Here is an example of people responding to emails that were on the TPUSA email list. These are people who were formerly friendly to TPUSA. This was floating around on X the last couple of days. The last few months, I was at Turning Point. Emails like this became the norm when I reached out to recruit people. They can deny it all they want. The public already decided they know America is waking up. And this is someone who works for Turning Point. You can see the email address right there. Kelvia Campbell, tpaction.com. This is Kelvia from Turning Point Action. I cover the Glendale area. Thank you for signing up to get involved with us. I host a ton of fun, yada, yada, yada. This person's response is, Charlie is gone and TP is run by liars and incompetents, greed and conspirators. Email is honest. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that guy believes the official narrative. I don't think he's falling for it. Here's one right here. Hello, please unsubscribe me from your mailing list. I can no longer support any TPUSA entities. Best, Derek. And we have another one here. not really up for joining an evil Israel before America demonic cult. You should find another job because this place will not look good on a resume. And again, according to this person, this is sort of becoming the norm when they reach out to people. And it sort of all comes back to what we were talking about earlier. People are tired of this. They're tired of being lied to. They're tired of the stories that don't add up. It's not even being lied to. They're tired of being dismissed. They're tired of having their concerns talked down to as if they don't matter. Imagine your kids. Your kid comes to you and says, Mom, when I eat that food, it makes my stomach hurt and I throw up. You know, a concerned parent might say, well, every time? Oh, yes, every time, Mom. Every time I eat strawberries, I throw up. Possible your kid has a sensitivity to strawberries. Possibly they have a strong aversion to strawberries, just hate them. It's possible something's on your strawberries that's poisonous and your kid is particularly sensitive to it and they're reacting to it. But imagine as a mother, instead of looking your 5-year-old in the eye and saying, well, son, let's figure out what the problem is. Try these different brand of strawberries. I'm going to buy a different brand. I know you like the taste of strawberries. Let me buy a different brand and see if that doesn't do better. You go out and buy a different brand of strawberries and the same thing happens. Oh. You might not be something with the brand or something on it. Maybe it's allergic to strawberries. You might go get the kid tested. You've got the resources and the medical coverage to get your kid tested for strawberries. Or maybe you just say, you know what, son, I'll stop giving you strawberries. I don't want you to feel sick. But you believe him. You listen to his concerns and you respond to them. Now imagine if you didn't do that and you just said, shut up, eat your strawberries. And then the kid goes and throws up. And the next day for lunch, you pack a bunch of strawberries. And the kid eats the strawberries again and he throws up again. And he comes home and he says, Mom, I'm still throwing up. You say, shut up. I don't care. We're going to war in Iran. I don't care what you think. No one would do that with their 5-year-old. No one would do that. No one would look a child in the eye and say, I don't care that you're hurting. I'm going to keep making you do this anyway. And I'm not going to give you any explanation. I'm not going to do any investigation into it. That's a little bit what it feels like being in society today. Why do we have to go to war? Shut up. Eat your strawberries. Yeah, but it makes me throw up. I don't care. Yeah, but explain to me again how that guy allegedly had a 30-06 in his hand. It doesn't look like he's carrying a gun. Shut up. Now, can you explain it to me? Can you pause the video and show me a 3.5 foot, 42, 43, 44 inch long gun? Can you show me one of those on the screen? Shut up. Can you explain to me like why the cameras kept jumping around? Shut up. What was he doing in the parking garage for 55 minutes? Shut up. You're evil. You're a liar. Well, I'm not a liar. I really just want to know what he was doing in the parking lot for 55 minutes because you guys, the way you told the story, made it seem. And where were his parents, by the way? You kept promising his parents were going to testify against him, and that was going to be the nail in the coffin, and that was going to prove us all wrong. He did admit it to his parents. No, well, did he though? Because we didn't hear from the parents, and they, people that talked to him seem to say that they disagree with that. Shut up. You must be a bigot. I don't know how the Tyler Robinson saga ends. I don't think they can take it to trial, which leaves me, as I say frequently, in grave fear for Tyler's safety. Grave fear for Tyler's safety. Because I really don't believe they can take this to trial. But beyond the Tyler Robinson saga, this has become sort of an exemplar for how we're treated in society on all of our political concerns. I also have a grave fear that we're being treated the same way on every single issue we raise. Why are burritos doubling in prices over the last few years? Shut up. You shouldn't want burritos anyway. Why are you so entitled that you want burritos? Why have burritos become the lightning rod? I'll never understand. But they have. And people have legitimate concerns about the cost of groceries. It's a symptom of a larger problem. I remember, and granted, this is a while back, but this is just how money works. And it should work this way under our fractional reserve system. It should work this way over a long period of time. But when I was in college, ground beef at Winn-Dixie in Auburn, Alabama was 88 cents. 80-20, 88 cents. Ground beef now is like $6, $7, $8 a pound. Okay. Going up 1,000% in price over 30 years seems a little excessive. I don't believe, I mean, that's like 10x. I don't believe wages have kept up with that level of inflation. So why is it happening? And it's not just beef, it's everything. And it's not just over 30 years. It's happening now on a very short, tight timeline. My kid the other day said, Dad, when you were a kid, how much was a taco at Taco Bell? I said 59 cents. And they laughed. They laughed because they're like $3 now for a little bitty taco, like an ounce of meat in it, couple shreds of cheese and whatever. And over a long period of time, like if you look back at what your great grandparents paid for a house in 1930, yeah, I mean, obviously it was a lot less than now. And so we live in a society where we expect that and accept that over a long period of time. But when it happens in a short, condensed period of time, you can't tell people to shut up and not worry about it. It's affecting their quality of life. It's affecting their capacity. It's affecting people's ability to go buy a house. It's affecting people's ability to buy a car and get to work. But when that same mentality is brought into every single issue, every single debate, that's when it becomes a little intolerable. And so you guys who don't want these third-party runs, you guys who want this, everybody needs to unite under the Republican banner, everybody needs to unite under the Democrat banner. You people who think that, stop telling people to shut up. I mean, I think that's where it starts. Stop telling people to shut up. Start answering some questions. Start having some accountability. Because we're going to keep asking the questions. Like a 5-year-old, we're going to keep letting you know our belly hurts every time we eat strawberries. And the more you tell us to shut up, the more we're going to feel like that 5-year-old. Mommy doesn't love me. Mommy wants me to hurt. That's the message you're sending us. You want us to hurt. It's a tough lesson for a 5-year-old. It's a really tough lesson for a citizen. We don't want to shut up. We want our bellies to stop hurting. We want you to care that our bellies hurt in the first place. And to the extent we think you don't care, and to the extent we think you hate us, guess what that 5-year-old does? He starts hating you. He starts hating you. We don't want to hate you, but we're going to start. Because to be told your pains and your hurts don't matter, to be told your questions don't matter, is to be told you're hated, and the natural response when you're hated is to hate back. It's not the Christian response. It's not the right thing to do. It's not religiously sound, but it is human nature. And when you talk about it on a scale of hundreds of millions of people, start to add up. Start to add up. Guys, I do apologize for the sound issues today. I thought we had them fixed. We will get them fixed. I will spend the weekend tearing this thing apart and figuring it out. I'll have a member show tomorrow. Hopefully it'll be fixed by then. I may devote some of the member show to trying to fix it. I might even during the Q&A today try to get in there and dig around and see if I can fix it a little bit. I just don't know at this point what is happening. But we'll get it fixed. I promise you, we'll figure it out. We're smart people here. Smart people here. Yeah, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I'm not going to bore you guys to tears with that over and over every single show, but liking does help. It does help the distribution of the program. And the later people, what I've noticed on YouTube is YouTube brings the sound up after it processes, so the later people will have no idea what we're talking about, and my comment section will be full of people who be like, I don't know what the problem is. Sounds great to me. because it does sound great to them. It's just you here live that are having the issue right now. But we'll get that solved. We'll get that solved. We've dealt with this before, and we fixed it before, and we'll fix it again. What did Tucker say last night? Oh, good question. I did a whole segment on it. Evening. Oh, it's not evening there. Yeah, 8 p.m. in the UK. Get to see it live without falling asleep. Never miss a show. Love you. You're such a pro. What you do? I'm not a pro. I think the sound issues have proven that. Decidedly not a pro. Decidedly unprofessional when it comes to the sound. But we're trying. We're trying to get it fixed. We're trying to get it fixed. Let me just try this real fast. I don't know if that works or not. You guys tell me if that made it any better or worse.
I think it did. And I can see 2 dots instead of 1.
Oh, okay, good. Well, what I
Right?
did was, so we'll see how that works. I don't know if that's going to
Okay.
cause that out or not. 9-inch nail in the coffin for TPUSA. 9-inch nail? Wasn't that a band in the 90s, 9-inch nails? And they sing Hurt? And Johnny Cash covered it? No, I think he did. Oh, yeah, those are the... tell Tilly that puppy Petey and Wally say hi. Tilly's not in here. I'll let her know. Matinee show on my birthday? Heck yes. No bull butter about that. Well, that's wonderful news. Happy birthday to you. No bull butter indeed. What in the world is going on between Mitch Snow, Elizabeth Lane, Valhalla VFT, and some guy named Nate? Everyone is mad, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it's all about. Go Bex. Christ is king indeed. So point of clarity on your question, and it's understandable why you have it. Nate is the real name of Valhalla VFT. His name is Nate Hornacha. And so you're really asking about Mitch, Elizabeth, and Nate, or Mitch, Elizabeth, Valhalla. Same person. Valhalla and Nate is the same person. I don't know what's going on. I don't get involved in these creator wars. When people fight, I just step back and listen. I just watch. I have no idea. I know that that there's friction in there somewhere, and I'm not sure what it is. But Baron Could has someone done a side-by-side comparison of CO rooftop vid and video of TPUSA guys behind CK for reactions to Flash on top of rooftop vid. Could be a signal. Christ is king. Love your work. Yes, Blake Bednar's put together a very nice compilation of all the camera angles into one continuous run that is synced up with the guy running on the rooftop. I am really a believer now that flash was just a windshield going by. I don't think it was any kind of device or anything. I think you can spot the car that caused the flash driving down the highway. But it's possible it was a signal, but I didn't see anybody below do anything in response to it. Just told my coworker, hold please. Baron is coming on. Now we're both watching. Shouldn't you be working? I don't know what you do, but shouldn't you be working? We'll miss most of the live first house Reno meeting. I don't know what that means. Like Doug Supernaw sang a song about Reno. Love that your pics wiggle while the intro plays. Yeah, you can thank Trigger Smart for that. He made that intro. Does it sound better?
Well, yeah, it'll be fine. We'll fix it. But I was gonna say,
I can try to look. What happened?
I don't know. It's kind of clipping, like not clipping. Yeah.
The clipping. All right, I'm gonna turn it back down. That's why I had it down the first time, because it clips. So I'm gonna pull it back down. Hopefully it doesn't keep clipping.
That girl said house renovation.
Oh, house renovation. I'll laugh. I don't know every abbreviation in the world, guys. I don't know every abbreviation in the world. Your opener to Mikey yesterday was the beginning phase. Prayers up to you, up your security, and I hope everyone fighting the good fight does as well. Crazy times are coming. Well, that sounds scary. I hope Mikey does the right thing. I think he will. I have hopes. I'll say that. If you're really worried about Tyler Robinson's life, then you need to show everything you have. The longer everyone holds information, gives them more time to get rid of him. Okay? Thank you. Appreciate your thoughts there. Thoroughly enjoying the work you and Daisy do. Lots of blessings from South Africa, even with a Baron being pulled. It apparently got worse after you commented. It's only getting worse. We're going to make it better, though. Watch Tucker with Elizabeth Lane. She gets on Gary. Yeah, well, she gets on to Gary. She goes after Gary. We're going to get it right here. We're going to get it right. After Brian hands the car keys to a man, you see Charlie's hand raise. Neck wasn't broken yet. Dan pushes it down. Then Brian seems to shift his knee over Charlie's shoulder. The guy in red quickly. No. See, you can't state things like that as fact. You can say it looks like it. This is the way I understand it. This is my understanding after looking at it. You can't state that as fact because you didn't see that on camera. What you saw was hand movements and this and that. When you watch it in full speed, it just looks to me like someone moved his hand up to, I don't know what they're doing under there, but repositioning him, pulling something off of his chest. I don't know what they're doing, but it does not at all to me look like he moved his hand voluntarily. But reasonable minds can disagree. But we can't fall into their trap as stating opinion as fact. We can't do that. As an electrician who took 4 years of classes in Vermont, I'll say I've never met a furry or someone who was even friends with a furry in this trade. Yeah. I looked around that classroom from that picture we showed last night. Kind of looked that way to me as well. Long time watcher and huge fan. Never miss a show. I am the Baronisms and how much you make me laugh. Love from Texas. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I got a tour of Secret Service Undercover Command Center box truck in Atlanta. Inside impressive, outside old bread truck. Love your humor. Jesus Christ is King. I'll say this on that because you raised an issue from last night's show. Is that a construction truck or is that some sort of undercover truck? The whole point of an undercover truck is to not stick out like a sore thumb. So you would want it to blend in with the environment. You would want it to look like a construction truck, but there might be signs, and that's what I was getting at. I don't know what it was. That's why I asked. If you're watching live, we are high IQ over here. Come back and watch later, and you'll never know anything happened. Yeah. That's the thing is, once it posts and processes to YouTube, those people get premium sound. YouTube, if it's too loud, YouTube brings the sound down. If it's too quiet, it brings it up. Like it has a preferred YouTube sound level. The only people that hear the difference in sound are in the lives. Everything on YouTube, once it posts, is like even Steven. We'll allow it. Sound's been just fine. Christ is King. I appreciate that. We are going to get it fixed, though, for the live viewers. Baron, 2 days. My 67th birthday. Vicky, 49th wedding anniversary to Frank. And told today, still cancer-free, over 14 years. We're grateful. Christ is King indeed. You have a lot to be grateful for. You're living a full life. IQ low volume outfit. Yeah. Well, it's been known to happen. Assuming this goes to trial, how are they going to find people with an opinion, without an opinion or knowledge of the case? Thanks for providing the truth when there's so many lies. They'll do jury selection. The voir dire selection process is thorough, often. There'll be a jury questionnaire. There'll be an opportunity to ask follow-up questions. I'm not exactly sure how they do a jury in Utah, if they strike a jury or if they pick a jury. Those are two different things. But regardless, like some states, you strike out the people you don't want, and you're just left with whoever you get. Some states do it the opposite. You get a big pool of people, and you pick people out of that, and everybody else is out. I don't know how they do it in Utah, but they will do their best to find impartial people. They'll ask them a lot of questions to figure out if they're impartial. St. Baron of the Bar. Thursday matinees are the way forward for us here in Scotland. 8 p.m. here, and gown on instead of pajamas. God bless. You guys do it wild in Scotland. You wear a gown and then you get into pajamas? See, here, well, I don't know how you guys do it, but I just take my clothes off. I don't do the in-between part, I don't do the in part either. I dump my mint can onto the floor of the back seat in order to fill it with fragments in order to be here. But seriously, you're my favorite podcaster ever. He bless us all. Thanks for all you do. Well, a better podcaster would fix the sound issue. I think. I kid. Well, let me try one more thing. Yes?
I was gonna help you.
Oh. I have one I can try. Let me try this. I don't know if that's going to help the sound or not. But that's what I'm trying that. We'll see if that
Whatever you did earlier today, me and you,
it worked.
It was great.
That was the same settings as when I came on. So I
Yeah.
don't know. We will see. Oh, you know what I can do temporarily? Hold on. I can do one thing temporarily. This might help a little bit. Yeah, we'll crank that up a little bit. That might help.
Oh,
I don't. It might start clipping. Is the only problem. But we'll try to leave it there and see what happens. Let me know if people think that's better. Need an opening on James Forstall. Cannot recommend David Martin's book enough. Eerily relevant these days. Thank you. I'll consider it. Please consider a Spanish dub channel. My mom would love that. She's always asking me to translate. Keep it up. I think the Clips channel, they activated that. I could probably activate that here on I could probably activate that here on this channel. But I know the editor on the Clips channel, I think, activated that. So I'll check into it. My humble host, good afternoon. I beg you and Candace to just come out with whatever's pending before someone else is unalived. Those people have no respect for any human life. Damaging a plane or an entire neighborhood for one person is not beneath them. Let me answer this the best way I can. There are standards on what you can do with certain information. So we have options. We faced this when we released the pictures of the SUV initially. Sorry about the pop there. We faced this when we addressed the pictures of the SUV initially. The permission initially granted to use those pictures was of a limited capacity. And so you're faced with an option. You can either not show anything, not get anything, or you can use it within the parameters granted to you. The information belongs to the source. It's not your information. It's the source's information. If the source says, I don't want to be known by this information, you can only use it in the following ways, then you got to respect that, or people won't give you anything in the future. If they don't give you anything in the future, it sort of stalls the ability to do an investigation. A lot of what we get rests on people risking their lives, their careers, their friendships, their whatever, in order to get this information out. And so their liberty, especially if it's illegal, if they leak some of this information. I'm not suggesting that takes place, but I'm just giving examples journalistically of what happens. And so if you say, go ahead and release everything, well, what if someone's given you a timeline in which you can release something? I'll let you look at it now. It can inform you now, but until X, Y, and Z happen, you can't use it. What are you supposed to do? That's sort of the problem. And I'm not suggesting that scenario is pending right now. Not the point. The point is just to give a hypothetical of some of the things that happens when you take in large quantities of information from many different people. You've got to kind of mark each piece and say, what are the limitations on what I can do with this? What are the limitations on what I can do with this? Is it a timeline? Is it a breadth? And so you have to respect that process. If you lose your integrity relative to sources, no source is going to bring you any information. If you burn them, they're going to be done with you. And that's sort of the problem on some of the stuff. So I understand your thoughts and desires and needs and wants, but there's a method to what's happening. I can assure you. Always proud to watch, sound or no sound. Well, I hope there's sound. God has definitely given you a great purpose. Thank you for being an example for a lot of young men. Oh, well, thank you. Christ is King indeed. I appreciate that. My humble host, did you get my Viking gift? Please wear it next time Candace wears hers. Love you all. Christ is King indeed. I haven't been to the P.O. box in like over a week. So if you've sent it recently, no, I have not gotten it. But I meant to get by today and I didn't leave the house. So I will try to get by tomorrow. Actually, did I? Oh, I did leave the house. I went and voted today. But I didn't go by the P.O. box. I was not on that side of town. I will check, Miss Bagley. I will check. My B just hit 2 years sober. Had to hop on quick to share with you and the jury. Keep going, Max. Love you, B. Christ is King indeed. Meg, congratulations. If you watch Tucker's speech from last night, that's one of the things he talked about is why is everybody inebriated all the time? Why can't we just be healthy and live our lives? And I think it's an important point. I think it's a very important point. A very, very important point. You know, the people often ask, what can we do to fight back? What can we do to fight back? Well, sobriety is a big one, I think. Stay out of debt, stay sober. I mean, to the extent you can. Stay healthy. Like the system expects you to be doped up, in debt, and sick. Because that's when you're the most worthless. That's when you're at your worst. I don't say worthless. That's when you're at your worst performance-wise. You're in constant fear. You're always one paycheck away from disaster. You couldn't run up a flight of stairs to save your life. You know, you're stumbling around drunk and on drugs. I mean, that's when the system has you. You can't break free at that point. You've got to better yourself. That's the best thing you can do to fight back. Can you imagine 200-300 million Americans who were sober, healthy, out of debt? System would collapse. You want to fight back, that's how you start. But Baron, first super chat for any creator. Thank you for all you do. I met my first high IQ member in the wild yesterday at my barbershop. And what a welcome conversation it led to. Christ is king indeed. Mr. Phil, meeting high IQ members in the wild? I'll allow it. Thank you for that. Who's here from Europe? Hete? Heat? Hete? I don't know what that means. Welcome in, though. Professor Bubba Baron, if the exploding mic theory is correct, why was the neck wound on the opposite side of Charlie's neck? I don't know, honestly. I've seen people speculate as to different reasons on that. You might ask someone who is more well-versed in and a bigger believer in the exploding mic theory. I'm not the biggest believer. I leave myself open to it, more open than I am to the 30-06, clearly, and potentially part of a component of things that may have gone wrong. But, you know, if he's leaning down, he had bad posture. So if he's leaning down and the shirt's coming out, I mean, it's a pretty direct shot up there. Not an ideal location, though. I mean, it would have been a much easier sell from that side. But it's clear everything was being pulled this way. The necklace chain came up this way. The microphone shot to the middle of his neck. And so I'm not suggesting it's impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but I would have to have someone with much greater technical knowledge sit down and explain it in a way that no one has yet explained it to me in order for me to be a firm believer. But I'm following it. I'm following it. Imagine a podcaster influencer coalition supporting the right politicians. You bring them on your shows, make them sign legally binding pledges, hold them accountable in exchange for your support. I don't know what a legally binding pledge would look like. I don't know what that would even look like. I'm not planning on going that route. Julian's Patreon profile pic looks more like Stairwell Guy than Tyler Robinson. Christ is king indeed. Julian Dory Patreon. Was he on the air on September 10th? I mean, it does kind of. Bro, where were you on September 10th? Were you in Utah? I don't think it was him. I'll tell you what, it can't be him. Because the guy climbing the stairwell is thin. Julian's jacked. I was shocked when I met him. He's strong. That kid is in shape. I call him a kid. He's younger than I am. Finally, an earlier show again for the European jury. We're doing our best here. Matinee is great. I get to catch it live. Well, thank you. That unfortunately, you're dealing with all the problems that we had today live that probably won't show up in the normal show. 20% of 9 hours is 1.8 hours. 20% of 12 is 2.4 hours. Best worst case scenario, Bagley's cam gave battery warnings when he clocked in for his shift. Good call. TC had an X episode. Edge. I think you mean excellent. Love the D-Lo, Mississippi reference. No one knows D-Lo. I was all ears. No, I do not trust the government with anything it says, does, ever. Sadly, I don't even accept the truth. Too many lies. Duly noted. Tension, the elevated video is altered via AI. Again, we can have opinions. Let's stop stating things as fact that we are speculating on. We can say it looks like it. Man, that sure looks like it. Boy, I'm convinced, but you can't say it is. Blown insulation hose our house bigger than your command center. Roger that. Hey B, how can TR be walking on street at 8:07 and driving in garage at 8:30 something? To begin with, that 8:07 was not introduced in court, and we believe, based on this shadow analysis, that was closer to 10 or 10:15, not 8:07. I have no idea why TMZ labeled it 8:07. Also, take a closer look at the intake video. Blanket, table, pillow, wall, couch, all looks AI. I agree. It looks weird. Love an EU-friendly stream. Number one from Poland. Christ is king indeed. From Poland, you say. Your Honor, plagued by thought, neck wound was actually second-order effect injury caused when percussive explosive shockwave caused necklace crucifix to slice puncture gauge, slice sever, carotid, and jugular. Would appreciate your thoughts. I am a bigger believer in that. The question is what caused the concussive force? What acted on his body and the necklace? I am a believer that the necklace caused the injury. I just don't know what caused it to move. Can we get a good start? Hi, Q. Nope, not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. We'll try. Ivory, number one fan in Idaho. When you showed the house yesterday, the white truck parked across the street, is that the one that was in the woods by where the gun was found that morning? Christ is king indeed. No, it is not. Orem Dairy Queen, 6:38 to Penguin Steak, 9:38 equals 3-hour drive. How could Tyler have time to order, drink, and leave 9 minutes later at 9:47? Seemed tight on time. Yeah, that would be tight. The problem is you're assigning a value to the Dairy Queen time that has not been publicly stated on the record. So we know that the Dairy Queen photo was provided by Candace Owens. That's all we know. We know she articulated a time that she was told, but we don't have any way to authenticate the date or time of the Dairy Queen photo. And so I think it would be a mistake to take an on-the-record witness who says, I saw him at 9:47 p.m. I talked to him. It's his face. It's his voice. And give it equal weight to a picture that just floated up out of the blue. And we have no idea where it came from. We have no idea. There's no timestamp on it. Like, we have a timestamp on the receipt from Penguin. So we're giving equal weight to those two scenarios. And I would argue that that's not necessary. Discuss I am John Cullen UAV work, please. I do it every time anyone asks, and all I can say is I'm not convinced there were drones there. I've watched his stuff. I've looked at it. I am yet to be convinced. So I can't discuss it beyond that. But the next 25 people that ask the question, I'll give them the exact same answer, just like I did the last 20 people that asked. You've inspired me in so many ways. Becoming a better person, take my first step towards converting to Catholicism, cut ties with all the unhealthy relationships in my life, and to start investing in myself. Love to you, fam and team. Maria Sveden. Wow. I don't want to say it's me. I mean, I think it's our community. We have built something special here. We had a woman a little bit ago say that she's 2 years sober. We have people all the time asking for prayers for their sobriety, prayers for their faith relationships with God and their community. I mean, it's just part of what we're doing here. And I mean, I think it's a reflection on the entire community, but thank you for saying that. I've heard when there's an echo, that means the feds are listening. Well, yeah, it also meant that I had two sounds coming through the same channel. So I did spot that. I did spot that. It took me a minute to figure that out, but I'll get it fixed. I got the echo fixed for a moment, then it came back. Yeah, and it dawned on me later what I did. I'm sure others understand, but I love Charlie and almost collapsed when I heard the news. I loved him even more than I knew. Yeah. And that's why we deserve answers. That's why the investigation deserves to be taken seriously. And that's why, particularly those that work at TPUSA, and I'm talking specifically about Blake and Andrew because their attitudes are so horrific. But particularly Blake and Andrew, they cannot continue with the dismissive, contemptuous tone. Every time somebody has a question that can be answered, just answer the question. Answer the question. Where'd you stay that night? Like if you're going to go on a space and open yourself up to questions, answer them when they happen. Or say, I'll get back to you. I don't know. I'll post it on X later. I'll jump on a space tomorrow night and follow up. But just what does it matter to you? What does it matter? Because no one would know who you are. But for Charlie Kirk. Nobody. Threats against M. Kelly at event at Virginia Tech. Could VTech also have been backup plan for CK, not just Utah State? I think 2007 Tech shooting thoughts. I gave my thoughts on that the other night in a long segment about Megan, Candace, and Tucker receiving threats. I think it was just to keep her quiet. If TR and LT are not trans, why did TR's defense team give him a light blue, pink, and white tie to wear in court? Does this show bad intent? I think you're overthinking that. I've grabbed ties for people on the way to court, and you just pick one. You just pick one out of the closet if they don't have one, or you ask their parents, just grab one out of their closet and bring one. I think people are overthinking the tie thing. Anyone that thinks Tyler Robinson had any choice whatsoever in what tie he wore is bonkers. That is not a question that comes up. Here, put this on. That's it. There's no more thought that goes into it than that. Tilly changed the settings yesterday afternoon. Yeah, possible. Somebody did. I didn't do it. Actually, I probably did by mistake. Loving this time for Go Live. Number one fan from Brentwood, Essex, UK. Watched every episode since Ian. Shout out. You're amazing. Love my truth tellers. We'll hold the superlatives back for, well, you didn't give me a superlative. We'll hold the high compliments back for a day when our audio is in better shape. Been looking forward to this nooner all day. Boy, have I had a dime for every time I heard that. Genuine question. If Alan Robertson, or whatever his name is, was such a great guy and moved to Utah just to raise his kids, why did he never reach out to you or Candace in 10 months plus as a witness? I'm not sure what's proper for police to do in that situation. Honestly, I don't know if it would be proper for him to reach out. I'm not a cop. Nothing like being a crash course kit for Barron. We love you, my B. Yeah, I apologize, guys. The dangers of amateur broadcasting. Why hasn't T. Farnsworth been called as a witness? You'd have to ask the prosecution. I don't know the answer to that. What do you want him to say? I guess that's the better question. If you're the prosecution, what do you want him to say? If you're the defense, what do you want him to say? I mean, before you call a witness, you better know what they're going to say, and you better hope you have a reason for it. First super chat here and got my cool star. Love you, B. Thank you, Kiki Cakes. I wonder how some of these names get made. My B. Hi B. I've never asked anyone to do this before, but please pray for me. My daughter's inquest starts on Monday. We've been waiting since November 2022. I don't know how to get through the event all over again. We will pray for you, Moon Pixie 79. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sure that is, sure that's tough. For those that don't know, I think an inquest, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an expert in British law. I think an inquest is a formal investigation into a death that is unsolved, I think. But thank you for sharing that, and I'll invite everyone to pray for you. Cohen Film dropping 10 membos, so we will do a member show tomorrow. The sound will hopefully be better. We'll test again, and we'll test some more, and we'll test with YouTube and all that. When school starts, I can't participate in matinees, so I'll enjoy this afternoon delight while I can. Thank you, sir. Well, Edge. You have to find a way to make it work. You have to have an earbud in while you're teaching calculus. Johnstown, Pennsylvania, checking in. And the interview you did with JD was checking in. The interview with JD was phenomenal. As his most requested humble guest, you've just increased our jury size without even knowing it. How do you feel about Massey 28? I think we could do a lot worse than Thomas Massey for president. A lot worse. A lot worse. Burger at Dave and Buster's for lunch. Mid. That is all. What'd you expect? Sir, I must take issue with your use of the phrase, a turd in the punch bowl. This causes trauma because someone once did that to us at one of our barbecues. Apart from the obvious disgust, money was tight and we ended up having to pour almost half the bowl away. Really? Yeah, well, I apologize. I hate that. Sure, it wasn't a Snickers bar. You're spot on today, Baron, saying what most of us are thinking. Love your perspective always. Thank you. I appreciate that. Lionel Nation did the same. Chrome issue, maybe. Yeah, I think what happened, if I'm guessing, and I don't want to get too deep, I think StreamYard updated and changed and defaulted everybody's settings back. Because I remember when we first got on StreamYard, I had a ton of trouble trying to figure it out. Before I was on StreamYard, had no issues. Got on StreamYard, had trouble. Finally got all the settings exactly right. And I think what probably happened is StreamYard updated. And so everyone who's using StreamYard is going through the same issues. And then it's going to take a while to figure it back out. Well, we're going to get it fixed. Have you seen Ana Escobar's later work? Yes, we talked about that last night. Again, Ana does good work. Stu does good work. But, unless I have time to sit down and validate everything, I can't really weigh in on it. But what I can do is tell you the limitations. The existence of the search in the Google Trends database means the search happened. But what we can't do is identify a particular person or a particular location within the greater region from which that search originated. We can only say it took place in that area that's covered. But outside of that, I'm all for people using the tool. It is rebellion that usurped CK's authority. Noted. Love you, Baron, for a super chat. Number 2 fan from Torbay, the English Riviera, hometown of Agatha Christie. Thank you for everything you do. There used to be, I don't know if it's still there. There's a really cool restaurant in Atlanta called Agatha's. My wife and I have been there a couple times. It is fun. It's fun. It's like a murder mystery theater, but you're a character. Everybody gets a role. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Baron, I'm just franking and banking through my day with my humble host in 4K HD. Franking and banking. I don't want to think about franking and banking. I don't want to think about him yanking and banking either. I'm going to be late, my B. Best Baron moment ever. Working now, but I will catch up with you and Candace later. Thanks to you and Daisy for all you do. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. Keep saying you fear for Tyler's safety. Do you believe Candace's reasons for withholding info from public versus continued risk to TR safety is justified? Thank you for all you do. Christ is King indeed. I do. And I'm not going to give every reason I think that. I gave the reason a little bit ago about sort of some of the limitations that come along with sourcing. I'll give another one here. If you sat down to a chess match and you said, I'm going to run this classic opening. I'm going to run the Queen's Gambit. But after I do it, I'm going to attack the middle and I'm going to castle early. And I mean, if you tell everyone up front what you're going to do, I'm going to, bump my bishop to B7. Like if you tell them early what you're going to do, then when it's time to attack, they're going to have formed a counterattack and they're going to defeat you. But if they don't know what you're going to do and they go, ooh, bishop to B7. Wow. Didn't see that coming. Now they've got to react. They can't have moved ahead of time knowing what you're about to do. And that's part of it. I still think if everything was dumped on the table instantly, Tyler remains in grave danger after the finding that the judge inevitably is going to make, that he's going to send it to trial. He's going to make that probable cause determination because the only thing he's allowed to consider legally is what took place in the courtroom. He can't watch Candace and say, you know, I understand all this evidence from in here, but I saw an unauthenticated video and I'm going to use that. You can't do that. Can't do that. So I'm not sure that it alters my fear. Future members show idea inside bear in mind to write an opening statement. So fascinated by your writing talent. I've kind of given the game away on that. I usually, I could talk about it on a member show, but I'll give you the rundown quick. I usually have an opening line that comes into my head at some point, and I've written down a bunch of these opening lines for different things. And then I'll sit down and try to bullet point out the support. And some of the bullet points I'll combine into one paragraph. Some of them I'll separate in, like one bullet point becomes its own couple of 3 paragraphs. And then I just sort of write it. And then I try to conclude back based on something that I said earlier. I mean, I don't know if that's brilliance or if that's just like formulaic or what, but you know, I'm a big believer in just throwing it all out there and letting people sort of figure out how to do it. And then a lot of times I'll put it away. I'll dump it into a document compiled, and then I'll go back and change a few lines here and there. I'll think, I don't like the way that reads. Good afternoon. Love Tucker's monologue and agree that we need a new path forward. I'm at the point where I'd go for my B as emperor because I have no clue how a third party could work. First world problems are real when nukes could fall. Christ is king indeed. Bless you. Well, I would be a good emperor. I'd be a great emperor. King, emperor, dictator, tyrant, whatever you want to call me, I would be great. I just don't see it happening. And because I don't see it happening, I'm not promoting myself for tyrant. I'm holding back. I'm holding back on my tyrant campaign. I can't wait to watch you on JD's show tomorrow. Number 1 fan from Slovenia. I like that. Boy, you almost got that one past me. MAGA RIP. We won't be fooled again. We won't get fooled again. Christ King indeed. Yeah, I'm done with that. That train has rolled out of the station. It means nothing what it meant back in 2016. Sup Citizen on X shows Phil Lyman talking with Alex Jones, saying his family has footage of shooter getting into a vehicle with someone after jumping off roof. I haven't seen that. I want to find that. Daisy, can you mark that down and we can look for that? I've not seen that. I was late, but now I'm extra late because I'm trying to figure out why my earbuds aren't working. You tricked me, B. Oh, sorry. Hope you caught up. Huge baseball here, too. TB Rays are my team. They're doing great this season. They hold the best home record in Major League Baseball. They're playing good ball this year. The Rays are very good in their farm system, better than other teams, and they draft particularly well because they had a long stretch where they had very high draft picks for a very long period of time, and they took advantage of it. Yankton banked my way out of Teams meeting to be here, and when I saw the live notification, hello, jury, humble host, matinees are my fave. Hey, Teams are the worst tool I've ever used. I hate Microsoft Teams. Don't sue me, Bill Gates. I'm not telling people not to use it, but man, I hated that. Man, the best part of leaving that old job was I never had to sit on a Teams meeting. I didn't mind Google Meet. I didn't mind some of the other tools, but Teams was horrific. Love hearing your point of view. Always don't think I've missed a show since discovering you via Ian. Really appreciate all you do. Go Max, as always, Bubba Baron. Thank you. Baron Judge just needs to see JDBC round 2. Excellent. Lord's work, sir. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be in front of the judge. But I agree. I think it was a good show. It was a good show. AB merch idea regarding your comment last night about Gare Bear's Twitter obsession with Candace, the most terrifying 5 words ever uttered. Daisy has done some research. Yes. Well, she got him. She got him good. Love is in the air here today. Oh, yes, we love. Big lovers. Keep turning over those stones. May they be caught out with their lies. Bless you, Baird and team in truth seeking. Christ is king indeed. May they be caught out with their lies. I like the way you said that. Bah! Every time he opens his mouth, a turd falls out. Sounds like most of our leaders. You're the best, Sir Baron. Christ is king indeed. Well, it's true. It's true. So happy I could see you live. Longtime listener, number one fan in Huntsburg, Ohio. A little slice of heaven. High IQ critical thinker here. What'd you say? Huntsburg, Ohio? I love maps. So I'm always curious when people mention their little town I've never heard of. Oh, you're way up there. Wow. You're up there north of Cleveland. I didn't know there was a north of Cleveland. Shows you how much Ohio geography I know. Minnesota primaries, August 11. Vote, but not for Congressman Pete Stauber because he voted for NDA Section 219 and takes money from those people. Yeah, I don't know anything about them. In your opinion, did any of the security make a move that looks like CK's neck was broken intentionally on the raised platform? It looks very harsh. Love you and Daisy. I see people say that all the time, but I don't know. You can't see his neck. Like, you can't. I don't know what you're talking. Like, I've seen where people say, look, that's where they did it. I'm like, where? I don't know. I mean, I'm open to it, but I don't know. Keep thinking about the hours of Rob McCoy's sermons you watched and said he changed. Wish we knew more about that. I feel like he's a key piece. I did play a couple, maybe one or two, I'm not sure, of sections of him in his older days. And I don't know if I don't know if I should play more or not. I don't know. I mean, he was like a lovable pastor. He seemed great at the time. And then maybe 4, 5, 6, 8 years ago, everything sort of changed, and he was never the same, in my opinion, after that. You can almost see it in real time in his sermons. Stop calling it a third party. Call it a replacement party. Third party sounds too much like third place or third rate. Makes it an automatic also ran. Okay. I'll allow it. Baron, I prefer paralyzed nads instead of Gare Bear. Gary's always and will be low IQ. Love your show. Keep up the great work. Christ is king indeed. Lisa knows nothing. Says her bashing is debunking Candace. My first language is German, but I believe she's wrong here. I don't think she's debunked anything that I've seen. I just clicked on and heard, shut up, bigot. Oh boy, this is going to be a wild ride. I can tell. Sorry, I'm late. Love you. I'll allow it, surrendered. But yeah, we did a little yelling today. I apologize for those who with sensitive ears. We thank Baron for his high IQ podcasting skills. We can't all do this. However, we can all smash that like button and help spread his voice throughout the YouTube. So hit that thumbs up, y'all. I'll allow it. It helps. Give grace, everyone. Yes, please, by all means. I know you probably tried everything for the echo, but what if Daisy played them from her end? Does that still echo? If not, it's bearable. Go back. I think I fixed the echo, but it took a while. B, put your opening statements as a collection in a book. Many people would buy that book. Videos can be taken down, but not a book in my hand. That's probably the best argument I've heard yet for it. Baron, I've been watching you since Ian Carroll's shout out. Love your content and all the work you're putting into investigating CK's removal. I'm in the UK, and it's great to catch a matinee. Well, thank you. Glad to have helped. Using my milestones to remind you your hard work and dedication is not taken for granted. You're appreciated beyond measure. Christ is king indeed. I pray for you and other truth tellers always. Thank you. Fair, sovereign, productive, beautiful, healthy, honest, optimistic, wise, decent, united. Missed first live to watch Tucker. Thanks, you and Daisy. Christ is king indeed, always and forever. Yeah, it's a nice 10-point platform in my opinion. If you look at the Miranda transcript video, the video had been running 3 hours, 36 minutes. That's 6:25. There was proof he turned himself in at 2:30. We don't know that for sure, that's what that timestamp means. We don't know, but it's not a bad guess. Not a bad guess. Zionists truly believe Trump is the reincarnation of a Jewish servant and had to clip his ear to fulfill that belief. I've never met one that believes that. Pulling a Baranika, anyone? But I'm late. Baraninka? What does that mean? Neocon conservatives are now the irrational libs we all hated. Yes, thank you. That's a great way to put it. They are the people we hated. They become them. We debate with data. Them with emotion. What a shame what this party has turned into so fast. And I like the way you put that. I love the way you put that. What a great way to state it. Baron out loud. Way to tell them, go back. Thankful for all you and Daisy do. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Baron. We've been busting a gasket with you. Just doesn't make sense. Charlie's friend should be giving info, not saying shut up. Gary Meltdown had me laughing. Love you, Daisy community. Christ is king indeed. We're trying. Baron, I was annoying today on accident. Emailed you. Oh. I didn't notice, Critter. Please don't hate me. I don't hate you. Ignore the punctuation if possible. I cannot do that. I can't guarantee that. I'm going to judge you based on the punctuation. And definitely don't call me out for my knuckles. I would never call anyone but Eric out for knuckles. You're my favorite, Kristen. And I wouldn't even call Eric out for knuckles if she wasn't trying to hide them all the time. It just, look, I mean, they're there. Common sense, Coleman, go Max. I'm doing my best. Do you think Colvette threatened Candace to keep her away from all the funeral events? Maybe so she couldn't see or hear anything? No. I don't think that's the reason. I think it's far more likely that they just didn't want her investigating and wanted her to be quiet. And that's my guess. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Leave a note that says I had hoped to carry this to my grave. Is completely contradictory to actually leaving a note for someone to find. If I wanted to take it to my grave, then I say nothing. Same. And you don't know he's going to be the one to find it. Like, people are in now that house all the time. How do you know someone's not going to lift up the keyboard? The whole story doesn't make sense. That silent opening felt like the best inside joke. We're here for it. Love my fee. Unfortunately, the joke was on me. Not you. Hey, SM58 has cardioid pickup pattern. Good excuse to create feedback and make sure he holds on to the mic. Yeah. Now, he did hold on to the mic when it wasn't feeding back for a couple of minutes during the Henry Dell segment. For what it's worth. Shut up, get out of the way, we're going to war. Classic Ben Shapiro type of attitude. It started with him, mimicked by sloppers ever since. I agree. Live from Australia, Brecky with Baron. Oh, Brecky, is it breakfast already? What time is it over there? Thank you, Candace and others, for being a clear voice of reason and searching for the truth. Christ is king indeed. What time is it in Sydney, Australia? 7 a.m. That is Brecky with Baron. I don't fear Iran either, Baron. I just don't. I'm sorry, I don't. Baron, they killed soldiers. Yeah, we shouldn't have been there either. I mean, that's the problem. You break into someone's house and they shoot you, you can't complain. You shouldn't have been there. Baron Gary Meltdown is not worth your breath. His wallet depends on not understanding it. Unfortunately, I'm starting to agree with you. Did you see News Nation with Frank Turek highlighting Charlie Kirk? Conspiracy breaking marriages apart. News for the Nation. What? No, I didn't see that. Oh, wait a minute. I saw Frank Turek talking about that, and I thought it was a total lie. I think he wrote his own email. Paramount Impractical has blocked me on X. I've not been anything but giving grace to Gary. Seems like Gary, the Kandahar, is of thin skin. Yeah. First super, I'm in Qatar. Rarely catch your lives. Watch repost every day. Highlight of my day. I vote for more matinee shows, please. Oh, look, guys, I'm accepting Qatari money. That's an inside joke, Amanda. They're always accusing people on the anti-war side of accepting Qatari money. Here I am. Look, I'm doing it. That's great. Thank you. Our humble host doesn't lie, Gary. Yeah, I mean, why? I'm not going to lie. I just might get it wrong. I've gotten it wrong before. I'll probably get it wrong again. Not often. It's rare when it happens, but it's happened. Prayers, I failed during my husband's illness. Electric has been disconnected. It's my son's 13th birthday. My PTSD is on fire along with this weather. Yeah, prayers indeed. I don't know what you did to fail, but there's nothing you can't come back from. So buckle down. He's not going to remember that. You guys will look back on it and be a joke. Remember that birthday you had 25 years ago when the power was out? It'll be a joke. I promise. But, you know, Prayers to you. Prayers to you. Van, you're an attorney with years of experience in these cases. We know you know your business. Gary's paid to attack. They are irrelevant. I tend to agree that he's irrelevant. CIA planted the bomb on Pan Am. Government covered it up. Okay. Oh, you're talking about the other things we don't trust. Okay. I was like, what are we talking about? But now I understand. It flies right in what we were talking about. One of two, says Moon Goddess. Might be. I don't think it's going to matter what we say, or they are going to trial. They're going to rig the jury and convict him, and they are to off him. Even if he is innocent or guilty, they don't care, and they'll keep doing this as they have been for decades. We don't mean anything to them. Thank you. I understand why you're saying that. Mabi, my 3-year-old super high IQ, whenever we ask if we can help her do something, she says, I'll allow it. Peace be with you, my brother in Christ. Christ is king indeed. That is funny. That is funny. I saw someone on X say, teach your kid to say behold instead of look. You can imagine if you go to Kroger and they're like, behold, daddy. Behold. The irony of having so many issues with the microphone while investigating this case. What do you think it means? I hope it's not bad. I already read that one. Proud to be here. Excited to watch see the continued growth. The world needs more Baron. Keep truth telling. Well, thank you. Tucker, problem is he's describing Jesus' kingdom, which only Jesus can bring, period. He is, but he's also describing responsible citizenship and responsible governance. And I think that's a noble goal. Tucker Carlson's It's Time to Save America episode from yesterday's fantastic. Every American should watch it. Let's save America. Agreed. Had the JD interview up with 3-year-old son, said, Mama, this is not your show. It's for me only. Getting Catholic curious because of you. Now, there are worse things to have happen than all of it, frankly. It was a good comment. Thank you. Ryan's got his own logo. Look at that. Ryan Dyer has got his RD logo. That's kind of nice. If I remember correctly, wasn't UVU scheduled last minute? Well, I mean, last minute's a relative term. I think the request came in on July 18th is the official story. If so, it couldn't possibly be because they realized that they couldn't wait until Utah State to take Charlie out for some reason. Yeah, I don't know. Peace and blessings. Blessings. Live chat. If still having sound issues, try YouTube app in another browser, i.e. Chrome, whatever all that is. One love, your sister, Shonda. Shonda, thank you for the advice. I'm going to try to fix it on my end as well. It'd be good if TR parents speak up. Maybe meet with Candace, Tucker, you or others that tell the truth. I feel their continued silence may be placing TR in danger. Yeah. Gosh, that's a tough one. That's such a tough one. I don't. I think at a certain point, the parents ought to maybe, I don't want to, ought to cooperate with independent investigators looking into things more than they have. And I say that as someone who recognizes the danger that they're putting themselves in doing it. Not danger like physical danger, but danger of being called as a witness and having to potentially disclose some things. But I worry that the Fed slop narrative has put into their mouths things they didn't say and they're going unchallenged. I worry about that. I had to be very cautious the way I worded that. One of two. Love Tucker, but his silence in the TR investigation has bothered me. To ease my mind, because I want to fully support him in efforts to put America first, I did my own research into his sponsors. Okay. I will wait eagerly for 2 of 2. I don't see it down there anywhere. We will look at it when we get there. I culturally appropriated a wrist burn to watch this. You must have seen the interview. We talked about that. Grilled chicken taco, mostly meat. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm talking about the Taco Bell? I don't know. I'm also so fed up with the labels of demon, evil, psycho, just because we can see and reason through complex issues others can't or won't. I even got on YouTube, made a video about it. It's not Christ-like. Love you, my baby. Well, probably should aim for that next time. Officer Dementia battery cam theory. The battery was indeed low and cut off. Maybe he swapped the good battery out with a known low battery before the event. Maybe, I don't know. Did I miss something? How did you know about Dubuque, Iowa? And you said it correctly. Well, I'm a man of many talents. So pronouncing Dubuque is just one of them. Tie a cherry stem with my tongue, and I can say Dubuque, Iowa. I can do that thing where you swirl up the straws and make them pop. I mean, I'm crazy talent. Hold the phone. Art is an antidote to anxiety. Calms the nervous system, helps us to re-regulate. Thankful for so much art naturally in creation. I think it's valuable. I think it's important. I just didn't want to, spend 3 minutes talking about it. America, as I fear, is too far gone to be saved and can't see how we overcome the damage that's been done. I hate to say it, but it's how I feel. Love you, my B. I worry if something doesn't change drastically, Moon Goddess, you might be onto something. Baron, end times doomers are wrong on outcome, but right on timing. We need to wake up and sound the alarm that the king we seek is Jesus. Yeah, I'll allow that. You're saying what we're all thinking, Baron. Thank you. Go Max. Christ is king. Remember, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you too. Your sound was fine for me last night today through TV, Roku, and laptop. Good to know. But Baron for president. Got my vote. Christ is king indeed. I don't want to be president. I want to be emperor. I want to be a tyrant. I don't want to have to worry about getting reelected after 4 years, working with a Senate. No, I need all those people out of the way. One man rule. And then my oldest son gets it when I'm done. No, I'm kidding. I just did search on Safari. The United States experienced roughly 15 to 21 years of complete peace without any active military conflicts or interventions since its founding in 1776. That is truly sickening. If true it is. Commander and level in replay clips to live. Computers. I don't know what you're saying there. Echoes are just surround sound. Thanks for you, my B. No, it's not. It was running two things to the same channel. That was my fault. I was trying to fix the sound, and I moved the output sound from the computer over one. Sadly, my current crippling fear is that something will happen to TR or one of you guys. I feel sick just typing this. I'm sick just reading that. I wish you hadn't have said it. Ugh, hope not. Jury, I used a 2024 birthday Apple card for chats. Duly noted. I didn't know they worked that long. Optimism is not about outcome, but hope, Baron. Conflation alert. That's hope in the outcome, right? Like you can't be optimistic if you don't think you're going to get a particular result. I don't think. That's philosophical. Dark skin and watermelon aisle. Checks out, sir. Well, that's rude. That's rude. Bear to send, assert, and never give up. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Are you giving me hope, Baron? Really? Yes, I hope so. I hope we all have hope. We need hope. Baron, I agree. The law is the law, and higher ups. Law is the law. The higher up is supposed to be an example to lead the United States as Americans and protect our rights. They are stealing from the Americans, lying to us. I think there's a lot of truth to that. My first super chat, I'm using it to ask, please share with Candace what brands of shirt you use for her merch. Instead of flowers, my hubby buys me shirts. Your number one fan in West Des Moines, Iowa. I could do that. I could tell her that. Oh boy, you're going to touch me on my first super chat because I spoke about nukes. I watched CK get offed and the people in charge don't give a flip. I worry about what our leaders will do, not my neighbor. I get along with anybody face to face. Yeah, but they don't want you to, and that's the problem. You know, there's more of us than them. And that's a realization that every leader comes to at some point. And the option is either rule in a way that they'll approve or make them fight each other so they can never rise up. And that's is what it is. Hey, B, I want to come to the jury and ask for prayer. 40-year marriage being destroyed by drugs and infidelity. I know God can work miracles. Please pray for my parents and that my dad will find his way back to Jesus. Friendly ghost, I will certainly pray for your dad. I'm sorry to hear that. That's what I was talking about, being sober. Me, shut up. Good luck with that. They will need it. Yeah, well. I'm 57, live in Baltimore County, Maryland. We've had over a dozen water main breaks in past month with 2 sinkholes. Mid-East war needs to end. Been there my whole life. Christ is king indeed. That's what I'm talking about. Like, we have water mains in New York City made out of wood. We could afford to update those, but we're blowing trillions of dollars other places. You know how many water mains you could replace for $1 trillion? There's nothing better than Matinee Baron yanking and banking and crashing out today. Was that a crash out? I didn't mean to crash out. Thank you for all you do and giving a voice to so many of us high IQ individuals who are wandering the desert of slopaganda. Christ is king indeed. I've never heard slopaganda. I like that. I'm going to steal that. Tucker Barron for president. Now, vice president, I would do. You get all the glamour and glory of being president, but you don't have to like deal with anybody. Just kind of like play golf. Not even play golf. I'd take it up. I would take it up if I was vice president. A lot of golfing. Be like, sir, did you break 200 today? I'm like, no, but I will my might tomorrow because I got 2 rounds scheduled. Bag Boy is doing the YMCA dance and the Macarena. Dum digga baga digga booga daga baga. Big digga baga digga booga daga biga. Baga digga booga daga biga daga biga. Eh, Macarena. Whoa! I worked at Joe's Crab Shack as a kid. I had to learn it. Tried a dozen different ways to send my 2 of 2. Well, email now with whole message. YouTube won't let me send. Tucker sponsor EKTR. Duly noted. Who are the officers exiting the building in Life is Driving video 3639? Haven't heard Lyndon on his arm badge mentioned in this case. I don't know. You're talking about the office that's kind of back behind the amphitheater there on the right. I don't know. Our law enforcement has their body cams on when they're interrogating somebody, so where's that video? Good call. Good question. Why would he need to look for a lawyer if he's turning himself in and guilty? I don't know law, but that doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, well. Were the Bag Boy pics from before or after he was on the roof? Could the battery have already died? It was before. It was like maybe 7 to 9 minutes after the Big Bang. And by deduction, I guess maybe 6 to 8 minutes or so before he went up on the roof. The LED around the Exxon isn't a full circle light. It's 3 lights in a circle, one top, bottom left, bottom right. It'll be hard to see from far away if it's daylight or brighter when charging. Duly noted. Maybe. Although I looked it up and I saw some that were solid circles. I don't still have it pulled up. But I saw some that were solid circles. Why would he need to look for a lawyer if he's oh, I already read that. I wish I could have your hope. I'm American, live abroad, can't afford to move back. Fired from U.S. Catholic school 18 years ago for being pregnant, unwed, lost house, went bankrupt, never recovered, now 60 on disability. I miss home. Oh, gosh, what a story. I see you're in Europe somewhere, it looks like. You got e-bucks going. I bet you do. I would miss home. I like it here. Think there's any chance a projectile from a high angle behind Charlie hit him in the back of his head and came out his neck? Doc hair, hard to see. I think there's a minimal chance of that. I don't really. The problem with the high angle is there's a tent there. He was sitting high. You can go back and look at the picture. I don't want to pull one up, but he was sitting high in that tent. So how high of an angle, like say the tent is here, your angle would sort of come, you could only be so high and still be able to see him at all. That's always been my problem with the high angle theory. I remember Range Day Bros very early on had a image where they were way up shooting down and trying to recreate the shot. But I will say this, I would believe a bullet from behind through the hair out the neck before I would believe 30-06 from the Losi Center. I'll allow that. Optimistic children. I was blessed to enroll my boys in ice hockey when they were 6 to 15. I was happy to see smiles on the boys' face when they came off the ice. Win or lose, but all optimism. Yeah, exactly. You learn a lot that way as a kid. Carry on, sir. Well done. Doing my best. Doing my best. Towards the end, pulled his pants down and screamed, "I did it," to get everyone's attention off the stage. I hope defense counsel has him on their witness list. Again, we don't know what he would say. It might not be worth having him on the witness list. Just want to say thank you and Daisy's hard work. Loved all the references to archaeology lately. From your number one fan in Plymouth County, Massachusetts, who happens to also be an archaeologist. Wow. An archaeologist. That would be fun to talk to. He'd be fun to talk to. Great. Now Gary's going to use the fact you said sound would be fixed today as proof you're a liar. Yeah. And he'd be right. He'd be right. It's all screwed up. I appreciate you dealing with me. Again, once it posts, it'll be fine. So I don't once I realize I'm going to stop messing with it, I just do the show because it'll post and then YouTube will process it and the sound will come out all gravy there. But yeah, you're right. It's my birthday show today. We're officially in the same decade. Mama Ghost, does that mean you're 40? I see. Can't get anything past me. I always thought a third party was a wasted vote, but now I think we need a third party. If 2 to 3 Dems would join us, this thing could really take off. Yeah, if so, my thought is keep it focused on those principles. Don't bring any guns, abortion, like tax cuts, entitlements. Don't bring any of that stuff into the party. People can talk about that as they run, and you can evaluate at that time. But we don't need a litmus test that's going to exclude people. That's going to make sure you have a small base from which to operate. Go ahead and win the first election. It may be total chaos as you elect like half the people hate you and believe all these other crazy things. But as long as they're rallying around those core themes, primarily on issues like foreign policy, we can get the rest worked out because the rest is going to not be addressed anyway in the near term. So let's just get in power and then we'll worry about those other things down the road. Worry about how to figure that out. Said you hadn't read an autopsy. My dad died in March and the county required an autopsy due to the nature of his death. If you'd like to see how they're written, I will send you his. No pics. No, I mean, I might have misspoken. I have flipped through an autopsy. I have no idea what the autopsy in Utah County is going to look like, or Utah is going to look like. And the ones I've read are all historic cases going back, like MLK's. I've read his. I read a couple other famous people, but nothing like just a run-of-the-mill murder, the last 10 years. Volume is fine on my end. I'm slightly hard of hearing. Can someone tell me the significance of 92? Not expecting Baron to explain this, by the way. I don't know what 92 means. I wish I did. I was pridefully one of those who emailed because the emails and letters in the mail asking for money was insane. Subscribe to them post 910 before it all went to FedSlop. Well, good. I'm glad you emailed him. Stepping up for Ivan. Gary, you big dummy. Oh, yeah, Ivan couldn't be here today. Beloved brother, God is exposing idolatry of nationalism in his church to remove and exchange it with hope and return of the king. Tucker didn't get there yet. I love you. All right, Nikki, I'll allow it. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, but I'll allow it. On the shooter being 3 to 4 feet back from the edge, on his stomach, there's just no way he's seeing Charlie from there, right? Standing okay, but lying down. I will say this. I've seen a lot of people weigh in on this here lately, and I don't know how you could possibly conclude one way or the other. In my opinion, from that distance back with that lip that's in front of it, he would have to at least be, the barrel would have to be above the lip, no question. And then it has to be down at least 9 degrees because that's the angle from the low-C center to the tent. So you're looking at least a 9-degree lift on the rear of the gun. So the question is, how far back can you be? But each step you go back, you just have to get a little higher to clear that lip. So if you're like, say this is the lip, and here's your 9-degree tip. You just have to be right here. But if you come back this way, now you got to be up here. If you come back this way, now you got to be up here. So the feet back is really irrelevant. It's how high is the gun off the deck. And I don't know how you're ever going to determine that. So I'm not sure the point of going down that road. Great show today. Love you, Baron Daisy. Go Max. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Baron, you need to stop tricking me into donating my money with your rampant lying. Yeah, well, that's the thing. I've never asked for anything. You know, truly listener supported. More than NPR because they get on the beg every now and then. I don't do that. Can you explain why so far out to reconvene for closing arguments? Or is the closing different than regular trial? No rush for a guy in jail. That's a good question, honestly. And I don't know the answer to that. Maybe it's just the date he had available. You know, judges are busy. They do a lot of stuff. You got to find a day when he's got half a day free. Might be the first one he had. TR in protective. Scary Fed last attempt to settle this. I have no idea if he's in protective custody. Keep up the great work, Baron. I'm doing my best. Oh, that's Nissy Social. Wow. Guys, shh, there's famous people in here. Nissy was great. If you're a member, go watch the member show. She was fantastic. And if you're not a member, you should go join her show. She's great. She's great. You should join to go watch the show and go watch all her stuff. She's fantastic. She's got such a curious mind. The things she thinks on, I'm like, why did you even think of that? But then I'm watching, I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for checking in with us. Don't judge me, Nissy, that you can't hear anything. Bravo, Bear. An excellent podcast. You made me proud to be an American. I can't sing. Much love and respect. Christ is king indeed. Thank you. Thank you. Baron, love the strawberry example. I get shut up and get your tinfoil hat or whatever conspiracy theorist. God bless. Thanks for all you're doing. Keep going, Max. Yeah. I mean, why not just answer our questions? Wouldn't that be a lot easier? Could you help start a petition for the TPUSA owners to retire Charlie Kirk show? No, I'm not going to do that. When you search Charlie Kirk on YouTube, now the first thing you see is Andrew's face everywhere. It's disgusting. It's unfortunately correct. But no, okay, say you had 10 million people. They'll say, well, no, we're going to keep doing it. Okay, here's 20 million. No. 50 million. No. Here's all 9 billion people on Earth. No. I mean, the petition, if there was some goal, if they said, hey, if you got 10,000 signatures, we would stop using it, then I would do it. They're not going to do that. Hey, superstar. Superstar. First time live, first super chat. I'm not sure if anyone's mentioned this yet, but it looks to me like the video of the rooftop ninja is handheld or body cam footage since it moves. Any thoughts on this? Thank you for your incredible work. Go Max. I think it depends on what version you're watching. But if it's from the courtroom, that camera was independent of the actual image that was being that was being displayed on the screen. If you're talking about the one on Candace, again, I think her camera man was independent of what was being displayed on the screen. So I'm not sure you can judge it based on that. Best way I know how to explain it. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for the day. Maria. A beautiful sounding song, horrific in practice, in my opinion. I think Imagine would be terrible to play out that way. You know, we're ruled by these godless demons, and I'm not sure I want all of society that way. But thank you. It's very, very kind. Your donation is very kind. Will you wish my husband, Paul, a happy birthday? He can't do a 3-hour podcast, but he always asks me to fill him in. He gets a kick out of your laugh. Paul, happy birthday. I wish I could laugh on command, but I can't. In the 90s, a man tried to kidnap me and my toddler from Walmart in Webster, Texas. Pretty sure it was an organized operation. Webster, Texas. I think I've been to Webster, Texas. Is that outside of Houston, like southeast of Houston? Webster, Texas. Okay, we have one example in the last 30 years, guys. One example. Yes, I've been to Webster, Texas. My cousin used to have a business there. May still. And I went to visit him. A beautiful place, right on the water. He lived in a great little town near there. That was even closer to the water. Great place. I'm sorry to hear about that, but I'm glad to hear it sounds like it all worked out. We all truly do have a lot in common. A lot in common podcast. Yeah. Brandon said earlier episode you wanted to visit St. George. If you do, make sure you visit a couple miles west of St. George proper, Santa Clara and Ivins area. Almost as pretty as Zion National Park. I do want to visit there. Everyone I've talked to said don't go, that Utah's relatively lawless if they want to be. And with your humble host, some of them may have an idea of lawlessness if I showed up. Oh, no, sent my super chat 60 minutes before the show. Too early. Yeah, unfortunately, they do get lost. I do go back and read the early ones. Usually there's 2 or 3 that were sent, and I'll read them after the show. So I'll catch it. Do you think TR gave someone a kill switch or a video letter that would go out if he's offed? It wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't know when he would have been able to prepare that. I mean, in a room with a lawyer, in his lawyer's room, maybe. Love this time slot. Blew my eardrums out when you fixed the sound. Totally worth it. Great show. Thank you. Thanks. I don't know if is it fixed now or systems failing. Have you heard about family court crisis? Parent flees abuse and judge takes custody and gives to abuser. Mother's losing custody in record numbers. If SA is alleged perp is given custody. Ursa owns. I have no idea what you're talking about. None whatsoever. Not looked into it at all. Are we still talking about Charlie Kirk? Yes, Mr. Trump. Oh, are we still talking about Charlie Kirk? Yes, we are. Sounds fine to me. Your mic was lower than the videos that fixed with the change you made. 126 mark. Love your show from Crowborough, UK. Oh, thank you. I'll do a lot of testing tonight. I've got all night. I got like 8 hours for midnight or 7 hours for midnight. I'm going to get it fixed. This thing will be sounding so good you won't know what to do with yourself. I think. We'll find out when the member show kicks off tomorrow. B, number 2 fan from PGH. What's PGH? Pig? Almost missed. Reason you can't think that TR's attorney could have been. Reason you can think that TR's attorney could have for protecting him by not going to Panguitch. Know about another crime. Can play clip of yourself answering. Savage. I actually can't think of any. I've tried. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I can think of no reason why you would not go and interview somebody who says they saw your client on that day. Unless you just know for a fact it didn't happen. But even then, I mean, I think you'd want to show you did your due diligence. I don't know. Could TR's phone have been cloned? Of course. You asked Mikey to come forward. What if he doesn't know who he can trust to tell what he knows? Everyone around him seems corrupt or complicit. Well, I tend to agree with that, and I think he would be in a tough situation. However, I don't think it's beyond repair, and I think there has to be somebody honest in government at some level that could offer him some sort of protection. Start OCIA 98, never been to church, honestly nervous, but feel a pull unlike anything I felt before. Any advice for the first day jitters? Thanks, B, for guiding so many and speaking truth. Christ is king indeed. I would just say go with an open mind. You know, there's going to be people, in all likelihood, depending on the size of the class, people there from all walks of life. I taught in different RCIA programs in 4 different parishes for over the course of 12 or 13 years. Or it used to be called RCIA. Now it's OCIA. Same class. I don't know why they changed the name. But I would say just go with an open mind and understand that people are going to be in different places in their faith journeys, everywhere from no background whatsoever to super informed background. And some people like to talk a lot in class, and some people like to sit back and listen, and you don't hear from them all year. But, you know, the goal is it's not a conversion class. The goal is it's an educational class with an option at the end, should you want to come into the church. And people get nervous because they think there's some kind of pressure or force. No program I've ever been into has any pressure or force. You know, they just say, you in? You know, if not, all right, maybe next year. And then you know, I don't think you have any trouble. Christ is king indeed. I'll say that. Baron, I sent you an email regarding this command center. I forgot to mention that Tyler parks in the garage and the girls walking get out of the frame. The shadow jumps. It's been edited. Yeah, I know I've been commenting about the edits a lot. I'll check the email. Matthew 10:14, and whosoever shall not receive you, nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. Daisy is not Baron's daughter merch. Not daughter, not wife, not sister. I've actually never met her. If that gives you any confidence in how little we're related. No, she's just a dogged, rabid, independent investigator. So, yeah, that's a good point. It's a good point. LT's hair on 910. Lots of info. Changes look if one of the TRs, easy spot if in film at UVU. Timeline if short on 910. Current length impossible. Low quality video testimony. Can't tell if real fake. Trial gives time to grow. All right. I think I know what you're saying. That Lance could have been there on one of the cameras. I think that's what you're saying. You're a humble listener, turned 46 today. Welcome to the club. Your humble host is 46. Thank goodness we have you and others fighting for truth. I'm glad we have you fighting for 47. We'll do it together. Man, you should do more shows from the bathtub. I have done no shows from the bathtub, I don't think. No, I've done no shows from the bathtub. I'm not sure why I would. Love from Belfast. I think you know UVU campus better than you know Auburn, Indiana's now. You know it better than I do, and I've been there dozens of times. Certainly better than Indiana's because I just kind of kept to the corner of where the law school is, kind of the third in Indiana down there. Auburn's I used to know really well, but it's changed so much. I was there how many years ago? Yeah, I first went to Auburn 29 years ago. Oh, that sounded old. Such a beautifully spoken show. Well, such a beautifully spoken comment. Thank you. Baron, following your show theme, public service announcement, Senator Ron Johnson has a roundtable event to hear COVID hospital protocol stories, 9/28/26 on the Senate website, red banner top, click COVID survey link. Thank you. First super chat, huge fan, stay-at-home mom of 3, wondering how you knew when you were done having kids, aside from prayer, of course. My heart says more. My head says logistics. I would never tell anyone what to do. But I always, if asked, have told people to have more kids. I don't know what you mean by logistics. And I know logistics get tough with additional kids. And I don't know what your financial situation is. I don't know what your home life is like. But I would say, generally speaking, all things being equal, have more kids. We knew it was time to have kids because the Lord stopped giving us kids. We got old, I think is what happened. I'm 46. Mrs. Coleman's 47. I think at a certain point, everything just sort of stops. I love jury duty. Feel like it's the only time my vote actually counts. Thanks for the matinee. Doing my best here. Love the matinee schedule. Hugs from Croatia. Huge in the Balkans, ladies and gentlemen. Howdy, Baron from Texas. I've loved some of your previous member shows that jump into other hidden truths and conspiracies. Any chance you will continue to cover those again? Yeah, so I was going to talk Well, I don't want to tell you what I want to talk about tomorrow, but I am going to talk about, I do want to get into something different tomorrow. I don't know about conspiracy, but certainly history, ancient history. There's something I read today, as a matter of fact, and I thought, I got to talk about that on a member show. Woke up really early to be here all the way from Australia. Never miss a show. Thank you and Daisy for the work you do. Praying for you and your family. Christ is King indeed. P.S. Your Aussie accent is hilarious. I don't know. That's the only thing I know in Australia. Do you think the goal is to make us hate USA? To break us up further and divide us? Yes. To ruin our culture further? Yes. To destroy the USA, the last hope with our Constitution, which protects citizens' rights? Yes. I do think all of those things and more. Hi, Baron Aussie here. Had a giggle yesterday at your pronunciation of Charleville. It's Charleville. I saw that, which is why I said it that way. Shout out to Charleville listeners and sending love to this small community at this sad time. Yes, much love to Charleville. Seems like Idaho 5 case is full of off-base statements from officials, eerily like Charlie Kirk case. Yeah, and he didn't have the benefit of a robust, independent, decentralized investigation. Now, maybe he did it. Maybe he did it alone. Maybe there's more to it, and we will never find out. Thank you for all you and Daisy do to bring us the most accurate information. I appreciate you. Also, thanks, Nurse Casey. Keep going strong. Nurse Casey is a goat indeed. Indeed. My German Shepherd was killed by a car, drove over his lower back, stood up from lying for a few seconds, even though his nerves was all gone, thinking about the comment about the arm. Yeah, I can't comment on that. I don't know. I didn't see your dog's medical records, obviously. But sounds tragic. My neighbor's dog broke his back. I was outside when it happened. I was little, like 9 or 10 years old. He was either hitting or throwing a tennis ball down. He like lived on a hill, and he was hitting or throwing the tennis ball down there, and the dog was jumping up and circling all around to get it and running back up. It was a yellow lab, I think. And went down one time and jumped up and twisted and started yelping and just dragged himself up by his front legs and died. It was tough to watch. Really sad. I hadn't thought of that in 35 years until your comment. Yes, whatever happened with the necklace hint. I'm working on that. I promise you I'm working on that. There's work to do on that, believe it or not. That story is not ready to do. If they edited the security footage, couldn't they have edited Bagley's footage, which is why we don't hear it turn off? And they told him to say it died. I think they just clipped it, if you want to know my opinion. Deep State needs WW to zero out debt so they don't want to be held accountable for at expense of our hides. Oh, a world war, you say? Well, wars are... Well, everyone should read the book War is a Racket. Oh, I need to put that on my book list. It might already be on there. That I've never released. Until you fix the volume, can you stay riled up? You're easier to hear at riled up volume. Baron loud, Daisy whispering. Daisy loud, Baron whispering. Appreciate you. I'll try. Oh, I'm glad you said that because I need to ask her about her settings. Maybe hers didn't reset. Reflecting the comments section, our community, I wonder what was the catalyst that began the dialogue of faith, struggles, victories. Been here since CO, watched several shows from prior to that. Curious how you think this evolution began. I really don't know how it started. We just lovingly started praying for each other and asking for help and sharing victories and struggles, and it's just really grown into something beautiful. I don't know how it began. I'd have to go back and look. The only thing I know how it began is that woman who was upset that someone else said they were from Alaska too. She's like, well, I'm the #1 fan in Alaska. And that kicked off the whole #1 thing. That's the only thing I'm aware of. Bottom floor of parking garage is typically G for ground. #1 would be second floor. Roger that. But until we go into there, we don't know. In Amazon, tyrannicals tell villagers, don't read Bible. We'll tell you what it says. These tyrannicals won't change, but shapeshift. It is the tyrannized who, in supporting each other, change the world. Gulp. That's crazy sounding. I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying it sounds crazy. My my shy. Call me paranoid, but what's up with people telling you and Candace to spill the beans? Kind of sus, if you ask me. Christ is king. Love you mucho. Yeah. You got a good paranoid instinct like I do. What do you have to say to people who are starting to complain about evidence not being released? Sat on from our side. No, same thing Shai just said. I see people complaining on X more, and it worries me. I understand the process of strategy, etc., but others don't. I think there are a lot of people who want to know what's out there. Notice that really kicked up when Candace released that footage of him running across the roof, and it was in much higher quality than we'd ever seen before. I think there was a doo-doo in the pants moment from a lot of these people. What else has she been sitting on? Because if they're going to roll out Fed slop and every time they do, she's like, no, here's what it really looks like. No, here's what actually happened. Here's what they actually have. This is going to be a real problem come trial time. And so to try to shame her or scare her into releasing things early so they know how to adjust, they, at this point, I mean, honestly, imagine this. Imagine you were on a double secret phone call and you have a story and you and your friend tell each other, all right, here's the story we're going to tell. And you come up with some elaborate scheme. And then someone releases 10 seconds of that phone call that they had recorded. Can you still go forward with your scheme? Now, they did not release anything about your scheme. Can you still go forward with a scheme? I think there's a fear here that they've established a narrative that now they know they cannot produce. And they're in real panic. That's where I think they are right now. That's why I tell everyone, just hold on. It's going to get really bumpy. Really bumpy. Conviction, getting nails done. Does it redeem me that I got maroon? Christ is king indeed. Yeah, I think so. I think maroon's a fine nail color. And it was my guess as to what the principal would come back from her vacation with. Zio-Islamophobia. I'm reading Quran to see for myself. Yeah, I encourage people to read and be educated on lots of things. Lots of things. Neck carotid jugular wound caused by flying crucifix, puncture gauge, post-mic explosion. So you're getting closer to where I am on if the mic exploded and what it did. So I have a hard time with the shape charge or the projectile coming out of the mic. I do. But I don't have a hard time with the mic doing something to his body, producing some sort of concussive event or some sort of what we almost would consider a supernatural thing because we can't explain it. It looks miraculous. And then the necklace responding to that and clipping here, but also whatever the concussive event is doing tremendous damage to his body. I'm more willing to accept that than some other theories. I return all TPUSA mail. It comes with US via USPS with return to sender. Thoughts of Todd Blanche's new position. I don't know. I don't really have any strong ones. I don't think they're hiring anybody who has our interest at heart. I'll tell you that. Hi, Baron. Love your pantomime times in Oz. Duly noted. Duly noted. John Bray has solved the puzzle, and he did explain it in a way we could understand 2 days ago on his YouTube channel. I didn't see that one 2 days ago, but I've seen most of the other stuff he's put out. Julian is so hot. Is he single? Love your show. I do not believe he's married. I don't know if he's single. Shoot your shot. See what he says. Saw the TR vid of him allegedly turning himself in on TikTok. They said he looked at it like he's entering an elevator. Have you seen it? Could perhaps be a green screen. We covered that last night. Yeah, saw that. So grateful to be part of this high Q outfit. And Candace, you and Candace are a big part of my life on an almost daily basis. Thank you for your time and effort and energy on all matters. We all love Charlie. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because I never think of it that way, but I do know that when I watch, and there are some podcasts, I watch almost everything they put out. You feel like you know them, right? And I feel like a lot of people felt that way about Charlie too. Like they felt like they knew him. It's almost personal what's happened. So I get that. You're my hero, B. Go Max. Christ is king. Indeed. You're my hero. Data point. If car door was ajar, there would be a constant car alarm. Did you hear that on 9/11? 9/11. Door ajar. Constant car alarm. What are we talking about? I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, did you hear that on 911? Oh, I don't know. I didn't hear a 911 call. Nobody ever said anything about this, and maybe I'm just weird, but isn't Lance Twiggs' shirt collar really high on his neck? What causes this? Bad fashion? I don't know. I didn't notice it. Have you seen the theory that the video of Tyler going in to confess is actually an edited video of an elevator? Yes, we talked about that yesterday. We actually watched it. The way he walks in, just stands there with something in his hands is interesting. Yeah, and then he walks back towards the door, and then they cut it off. We all agree both sides of the aisle are corrupt. The system is not working. Then why did you vote Barron? When we participate, we are in agreement with the system. Dare to dream of creating a new system. My congressman's a turd. His name's Andy Ogles, and he sucks. And he's a Zio Goober, and I wanted to vote against him. And I know a guy who works for the guy running against him, and he assured me he was not one of those. So I went in and cast my ballot for that guy. I left a lot of spaces blank, but I wanted to vote against that turd in Congress. It's official. My email will annoy you. I get it now. Well, don't let it be annoying. Percussive blast injury, custom device, shockwave, primary physical trauma, supersonic overpressure shockwave, and an explosive device, or mic, shake, charge. Gotcha. Duly noted. Shout out to my peeps who've been around since the $1,000 giveaway. Oh, I freaking love you, Sir Baron. #1 fan from 315. About that, there was a girl named Arizona Girl or something. AZ Girl, whatever her name was. She won. I sent her the gift card. I got a W-9 from her, so I know she's a real person. Sent the gift card, $1,000. And she accepted it. I got on Amazon, looked, it was accepted. Never heard from her again. Never a comment, never a follow-up, nothing. I even reached out, I was like, hey, I saw you got it. I hope everything went well. What a wild experience that was. Well, what could you do? That was a long time ago. That was back in like October or November. Thanks for clarifying content withholding. I just have a growing unease. Please don't announce when going to P.O. Box. Christ is king indeed. I never announced like the time. Road mic explosion was to mimic gunshot to chest at same time. Palm gun fired by white t-shirt guy who sorry. That guy did not shoot him in the white t-shirt. I can't do it with a gun because I'll get kicked off of YouTube. Let's assume this is a gun. You can't shoot somebody like this. That's not. You can't aim like that. That ain't work in a video game. So that did not happen. That did not happen. We can definitively rule that out. He might have done something else with his hands. I'm not saying the guy's innocent. I'm not saying he's guilty. But I'm saying he did not shoot a gun. Caused exit wound, have vid. I'm sure you have a video. It's the same one we've all seen. There's only like 6 videos. So when people say I have video, there aren't many, of the actual event. St. Michael protected an exposed plot. Again, you could not take I can't grab a real gun, but you cannot take act like this is, I'm using my old man glasses here. Imagine I need to hit something, 30 feet away, and I just do that. Bang! Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Thank you for all you and Daisy do. Stay safe. Doing my best. #1 from Huntsville, Alabama. You're competing with other people who I'm related to, who probably not. You might be #1A. Hey, Brand, loved your Julian Dory interviews. The episode with JSM was fantastic. Christ is king indeed. That drops tomorrow. I think that one will be one for the record books by the time it's done. Not like viewers necessarily, but I'm talking about as things continue to unfold in the trial and the investigation and then marking it against what we discussed, it'll be very interesting to see how it compares. Why vote for a corrupt system? Dare to dream new. I just explained that. Those Bagley pigs, YMCA. Yes. Officer Bag Boy getting jiggy with it. The truck at the construction site could be a spray foam inflator. I've seen some similar to a few drop sites. We talked about that last night. A lot of comments on that. What was your security guy with you? Was that your security guy with you during the interview with Dorian? If so, made me feel better knowing you were safe. Keep going, Max, and God bless you and your family. It was. I didn't draw attention to it, but since you asked, it was. Catching you live is bad for my budget. Take my money. Oh. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Please apply to be general counsel for third party. I'll probably, depending on how it goes, be supportive. We'll see. I don't know about that. Electric shock therapy, episode 153. You show footage of police chief picking up the microphone. Watching his reaction, it seems to be dead. Turned off, or did it die from electrical surge? That's a really great question. Now, granted, that was a few minutes afterwards, and Terrell Farnsworth was still wandering around the area, so he may have come by and flipped the power switch to the whole thing, or it could have died in a power surge. I don't know. Mabi, check your podcast software for the mic source and switch it to Boom Mic. When you share videos, the output is feeding into your input laptop mic, causing the echo. I can help troubleshoot. That is not what's happening. I can promise you that's not what's happening. Earlier super chat about your theme today. We aren't going to sit down and shut up ever. COVID topic. Yeah, agreed. Hi, Baron. Love the show. Great work. Sometimes show how hard it is to attach a scope to a World War II Mauser and how different it looks from the pictures they showed of a modern 30-06. Christ is king indeed. Well, all you're looking at is the stock. I don't think we have good enough pictures of the actual action to see if it's old or new. As far as the attaching the scope, I think their story, I believe, is going to be that it hit the ground and came loose. That's what I hear. That they're going to say when he jumped off the building, it hit the ground and came loose, and that's why it's not mounted correctly. But I don't think that's what happened either. Baron, not getting my 9 Inch Nails downward spiral reference. Unk status revoked. I knew very little 9 Inch Nails. I just knew a few songs. An ear print can be like a fingerprint. Tyler and Stair Guy have a different outer curve, in my opinion. Has anyone looked at this to your knowledge? Thanks for being honest, fair, and relentless. I actually put a picture of Tyler's ear and the roof stairwell guy's ear side by side on X and asked people, are these the same ear or different ears? And it was almost unanimous that they were different ears. I agree with you. My friend brought an old surveillance van from the FBI. It had so much stuff, she had to take off it. Monitors, wiring, lots of fans. Your idea fits. I think it fits. It's just whether or not it's right. That's the difference. I made a chicken bake for dinner for family and Jesus. That's my best for today. Yeah, cook like Jesus is coming over. In preliminary, motive got debunked. No, never talked about CK. I think that's at least partially debunked. Means questionable, poor aim. That was admitted. Opportunity, when could have TR prepared the event? Did prosecution highlight any of that? Probable cause? I don't know that they needed to highlight any of that. Motive is not a requirement for a murder conviction. So it might go towards being able to tell the story in a certain way that a jury would buy it, but it's not an element of the crime. I mean, it may well, no, not necessarily. It's the same thing with poor aim. That's going to go to the weight of whether he did it, not the sufficiency of whether he did it. Could TR prepared could he have prepared it? Again, they didn't even talk about that. They didn't even talk about that other than him saying he prepared it for a week in advance. Did prosecution highlight any of that probable cause? Yeah, so I don't think any of that goes to probable cause, in other words. We say Christ is king. What does that mean? We're the body of Christ, not the head. The man, Jesus Christ, must return to bring the rule we all crave, submitted humbly, but with supreme conviction. It's the kingdom of God. Christ is the king of the kingdom. That's what that means. I don't know any other way to explain it better than that. He says, give you the keys to the kingdom, talking to Peter. Love the show from beautiful Cape Town, 20 years clean. And from there, I no longer owe anything. Recovery is beautiful. That sounds beautiful. 20 years, Cape Town. Cape Town, South Africa. South Africa. That's as best I can do in South African as well. But Baron, is it confirmed TR has been put on S watch? Christ is king indeed. Jesus loves us all. I have not had any confirmation other than hearing people say it. But I've not seen anything in particular. Make police cameras not able to be shut off. Well, I don't know that I want to watch them take a leak. So, I don't want to hear him in there grunting and groaning. Who does number 2 work for? Let's let him turn off. We had WebEx, loved it. Now Teams being forced down our throats like pronouns were. Teams is awful, in my opinion. I want Terrell Farnsworth to answer which officer asked him to remove the card and who said he did not have to turn over the original card. Thank you again for answer. But you don't know what he's going to say. And that's the problem with putting him on the witness list. If you call him, you need to know what he's going to say. So I like the idea, but there are hidden dangers with every witness. You need to know what they are. Hey, Baron, love your shows. Thanks for praying for Mama. She appreciates it so much. Brother-in-law is on last chemo this month. Christ is king indeed, sending love and protection to you and your family. Well, thank you, Alyssa. Love and protection and prayers to yours as well. Sounds like things are moving in the right direction. I'd vote for a third party in a heartbeat. These two are doo-doo. Thumbs down, she said. Thumbs down. All of the candidates here in Arizona, in the Valley, that used to have the TPUSA logo on their banners have removed them. I have seen them all be changed, removed over the past few months. Oh, that's a bad sign. That's a really bad sign. I say hold, please, at work now. All I work with do too. Husband and I share. Number 1 fan from Kansas. Christ is king indeed. You sound like you work with a high IQ people. And I do not want to be redundant and tell you it's echoing. I do want to enlighten you that it's not only is it echoing, but it's also dropping in brief voices like a party line. Weird. I was late last night and also today. Could just be mine. No, it's not. It's not just yours. It's a problem, and we're going to fix it. Conspiracy thought, what if camera removed by Terrell was actually the weapon, like microwave blast, discombobulating CK timed with gunshot sound? Well, you're not alone in thinking that. I mean, think about my question. Everything pulls back into the left. Where was that camera? Back into the left. His microphone pulls back into the left. His necklace goes back into the left. His charm does. His necklace itself goes back into the left. I don't know what that thing was. I don't know every weapon that's ever been invented. And I don't think he should have been allowed to touch anything. Until we understand we are the church, Christ-like community, America will struggle. There's in a bunch of emojis. Hi, all the way from Oman. God bless you all. All the way from Oman? It's a long way from here. Stop by to say that culturally appropriated wrist injury is the funniest thing I've heard in so long. Christ is a great interview. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I did not know that was going to come out so well. Baron, have you knowledge of the economy connection with Utah and our greatest allies? Look up that, please. I'm familiar that there's a closeness there. Hey, my B, do these rings make my knuckles look big? Carry on. Not only do they make them look big, you think they're hiding them, and they're making them worse. A lot worse. Couldn't wait till USU event because the 9:15 end of life change with EK and CK. Love you. Christ is king indeed. I hadn't thought of that. Kind of hurried things up a little bit. Answer. Hope in future outcome, but aim further. I'm fine with that. Odds of Graf waiting until after 9/10 for decision. I definitely don't want to see TPUSA banking off merch again if he decides before. They 100% will. So there was a filing that Erica Kirk's lawyers that Erica Kirk's lawyers made. And in that filing, he said he demanded a ruling by September 1st in order for something. And I couldn't figure out what was the problem. Like, why was he so eager on that issue? And then it dawned on me that that would be before the 1-year anniversary. And something stuck out with me, like the September 21st. I don't know why that date kept sticking out for me. But I think you're onto something there. I think you're onto something. I love being part of your high IQ outfit. I proclaim it on X all the time. This Joe is update. Yeah, Joe, you sound like a better Joe. The other Joe was probably fine. She just needed some help. Matthew 28:20, we all need to remember that lack of optimism or surrendering to fear is an insult to God. I agree with you. B and 2008. Me, 47. Wife, 44, had 8 children, 2 boys and 6 girls. We're expecting twins, and God sent triplets girls. Then another girl in 2010. Now 10 girls and 2 boys. Still hope for you. God bless. Terry. Let's not talk like that. That's not. I'm a grandfather, Terry. I'm a grandfather. Need a mug. I don't know what that means. Baron, you're truly an anointed man of the Lord. Wow. Thank you. Hey, B, just want to say hi. Keep going, Max. Christ is King indeed. Well, hi, Lynn. You need to turn off your mic when you play a video. It's not it. I appreciate all the people weighing in. That's not it. Tucker and company have declared war. Literally, the Federal Reserve and military-industrial complex will not dissolve or evolve. The system is not corrupt. It is doing what it was created to do. Record profits, business is good. I agree with that. A lot. Let me go back to this one real quick. I didn't turn my mic off all the time until 2 shows ago. I always left the mic open when I was doing shows, unless I sneezed or coughed or something. It never echoed. So it's not the mic being open because the sound is feeding into my ears through in-ear monitors. It's nothing coming out in the room. So nothing's being picked up by this mic. So that's not the problem. The problem is it was running through the same channel, which was causing an echo. That's the problem. I fixed that. Now I got to fix the other thing to figure out how to get my voice back to the proper volume. So we're working on it. We'll get to it. I appreciate everybody's feedback, though. This is my third super this week. You keep the matinees going. I'm going to need to make another category in my budget. I'll allow it. Take my money. Mrs. Brown Eyes. The matinees, today's matinee was needed. But I'm not doing it to take advantage of you. I would never take advantage of you. Brooksby said the entire 3 hours with Tyler waiting with his parents was recorded. He didn't say that exactly. Not precisely what he said. He said we typically record back there. Why hasn't TR issued any kind of PR statement denying involvement, you think? You're suggesting he waives his Fifth Amendment right to silence? That would need to be carefully worded. Very carefully worded. Baron, the TPUSA topic on dating and war was a dig at how low they go. It was in my feed. No more jokes for me, low IQ. I didn't say that. I just didn't understand it. Just going to say how much I love the show. Okay, bye for now. Back to Julian Video. Denise, I hope it goes well over there on the other channel. Stop trying to reason with unreasonable people. Staying focused on fact finding and ignoring the opposition. Yeah, I'm going to. Every now and then I got to swap back. Not often. We let it go for a long time. It's like a fly. Earlier today, I had a fly in here. It'd been here a couple days. And I keep, you think eventually it'll fly out the door. It'll leave. It loved your humble host office for some reason. So I grabbed a fly swatter and whacked it. Every now and then, like I'll be patient. I'll ignore. Whack. Every now and then you got to whack it. The fly. Or the troll. Every now and then you got to hit back. Barone. I wonder if the body cam footage the defense lady said she viewed just before the footage ended included Bag Boys time in the photos. Ended. Yeah, included Bag Boys. Yeah, that's what she was saying. That's precisely what she was saying. Bag Boy's time in the photos. Wait, I don't know that I know what you mean there. Directly, King Jesus is returning to Earth 2032-33, which will be confirmed by 2026. Pre-trib rapture, half the global church first. I disagree with that. I think he was pretty sure that he was not going to tell you the time or date. Right out of the red letters. Didn't the guy Allen that was on the roof of Bagley have a body cam on? I don't believe so. I don't think so. Marion, you love you, CO, and all the other podcasters fighting for truth in the Charlie Kirk case. You're in my prayers. P.S. Sorry about my first super chat in all caps. Didn't know it entails yelling. Christ is king indeed. All is forgiven. Rebel T. All is forgiving. Or rebelt, whatever you go by. Baron, claiming #1 listener in Yakima, Washington. First chat, long-time subscriber. Prayers to this amazing community. And may God bless you all, sir. Well, may God bless you as well. May God bless you as well. Has the principal put up a time? It's late. We shall see. We shall see. Doesn't look like it. Hold, please. She has not. She has not. Miranda transcript shows both time and hours elapsed in the video. When interrogation room, he's been there 3 hours, 36 minutes. He arrived 2:30. That is a presumption that has not been established beyond dispute. That is certainly a reading of it, but we don't know for sure that's what that means. But I see why you're saying that. Baron, just fascinating how this is unfolding. Wanted to know if Tyler has contact to the outside world. Visitors, and if so, who? Stay safe. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure he has a visitor list. Those people. According to me, this is a prophecy. That was then, this is now. I'm declaring what has been revealed to me. Thank you for your consideration. Duly noted. Thank you. I sent my first super a few weeks ago. Told you I was writing my doctoral dissertation. I screen recorded. You were encouraging. I listened to it when I need inspiration. You are impacting the world more than you know. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate you telling me that. I had no idea that you had done such a thing. John Bray even explained neck injury on his show. I believe you. I believe you. Regarding officer's body cam, that should have been tampering with evidence charges, provided he turned it off. I think there should be some kind of result. It just died. I don't know. Hey, B. Nelly here. Any chance of buttercup yellow sweatshirt with bull butter logo? Love your show. I can ask Nurse Casey if she can, if she could do such a thing. I could ask. Number two fan from Pittsburgh. Tighten up, Mr. Coleman. Oh, that's what Puga is. Pittsburgh. Ashley Galadina. Galadina. How did I not remember your last name? Galadina. Or is it Galadina? I will join Tucker's new party. Christ is king indeed. I think you won't be alone. Look, the man on the roof video has long brown hair. Man on the roof video. You're talking about Alan Robertson? I mean, he has kind of wavy hair. I don't know about long. What would be the chance of you and Candace representing Tyler Robinson? 0%. That would be the greatest show on earth. Candace isn't a lawyer. I'm not licensed in Utah. That would be a bad defense team. If people figure out who killed CK, how and why, who would you prosecute since FBI and lots of higher-ups were more than likely involved or knew? Who does that leave to bring charges? There's always somebody. You know, somebody can always be appointed. Happy Feast of the Transfiguration of the Lord. Christ is King indeed. Is today the Feast of the Transfiguration? Well, I'll be. It is. Mic explosion equals electric concussion to organs, potentially. My B. I'm so late. Saw video on PC's X. Apologies if you've previously covered. What about the cushion on CKC? Do you think it's part of the blast? I don't know. I hope it's available to be evaluated. Hopefully. FYI, 6.5 millimeters, 6.5 Creedmoor. Bullet diameters 264 inches, 308 Winchester. Bullet diameters 0.308 inches. Duly noted. Duly noted. Hey, Baron, can I request prayers for healing in my family? I want to stay grandma and not have to be parent to my grandson. Hubby is not helping the issues. I love everyone. My heart is breaking. Yeah, Grandma Ma Rar. We will certainly pray for you. Love you, GBC. Stay secure. Ivan, somebody filled in for you earlier. I think it was Moon Goddess and called Gary a big dummy. So you got that taken care of today, Ivan. Amazing interviews with JD and Joseph Scott Morgan. Were the pictures inside the SUV discussed? Such an amazing interview with our humble host. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. I don't believe they were. I asked him at one point about the SUV and whether he would want to, as a crime scene investigator, have preserved that or evaluate it. But I don't think we talked about the picture. Do you have this one solved for us? I got everything solved. It's just a matter of proving it. I stand corrected. Did some quick research, and UVU parking uses 1 through 6 for floor numbering. Back to being confused. Oh, same. My daughter just found out she made top 25 national fundraiser for Blood Cancer United. Her sister, 15 months apart, died of chemo overdose from leukemia 1 year ago this August. Now she's off to college at Wofford. I didn't know you could die from a chemo overdose. That's terrifying. And I'm sorry for your loss. Very sorry for your loss. But at the same time, celebrating her sister, who seems wonderful. She seems very kind-hearted, obviously very brilliant. So congratulations. I want to go home. Carry on with what you're doing. Love the show. I didn't want to go home. I didn't believe that. Lionel had the same problem, funny enough. Yeah, I think the update to StreamYard screwed it up. We'll get it fixed. There's a chat on Facebook about your sound level. It seemed evident it's fine on Android devices, not on Apple. Maybe YouTube app issue. Potentially. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Is IQ contagious as COVID? IQ is not contagious, but I do think a portion of IQ is environmental. I think a portion is inherited. And I think it can be, I think you're born with a given range. And where you fall in that range is going to be due to environmental factors. And by environmental factors, I don't mean just the chemicals around you and food and all that. I mean, like, your parents reading to you? Are they engaging you in games? Are they talking to you? Are they holding you? That kind of stuff. I think that stuff plays into it. I'm not an IQ genius by any stretch of the imagination. By that I mean I don't study the science of IQ. This is just me thinking. Yes, Cape Town is the tip of South Africa. I think the sound issue is an issue because you didn't turn around 3 times and touch your nose. Oh. Okay. Duly noted. Every now and then you have to whack it. That needed to be followed up with sometimes I just say stuff. As soon as it came out, I tried to get it back and it was gone. It was gone. My grandma was 42. My grandpa 46. We had 8 kids. Then in 1949 had quadruplets in Litchfield, Kentucky. Oh, great. Well, that's not helpful. That's not comforting. What is your opinion on the video where the guy used Google Earth to show where the guy laying on the roof was actually at over 20 foot of roof left? I've addressed this at least a dozen times to different questioners. I disagree with it. And I think it was actually, if you continue watching his show, Matt Wright from Trigger Smart comes in and I think demonstrates why they were getting that wrong in the first place. I think Officer Bagboy said he didn't know who Red Hat guy is, so he couldn't be called in to testify about the screwdriver. Possibly. Christ is king. Indeed. Yeah, I find it nearly impossible to believe Bagboy didn't know who that guy was. Thank you, Jamie. New subscriber from Cape, Massachusetts. I used to live in Prattville, Alabama. Firefighter at Maxwell Air Force Base. My question is, are you Roll Tide or Eagle? I got Auburn pinned up here. I know it's blurry back there, but you can kind of make it out. No, I met my wife while a student at Auburn. So Hope that answers it. I've been to Prattville, though. They got great water. They do. They have a natural spring system, and they're constantly just spitting water out all over the place. It's called the Fountain City. It's great. Really delicious water. Mass addiction has been done on purpose, sadly. God bless anyone, including me, and so many others. Staying sober. Keep fighting. Jesus Christ is king, in my opinion. Boom, is it? I do think that sober, healthy, debt-free are the three. It's the trio they can't overcome. They need you sick, inebriated, and dependent on, just barely getting by. And I know that those three things are not possible for everybody, not in the immediate term, but those should be goals. Defense directs Graf to fast forward to 3:36:52 to watch the Miranda footage. I'm standing firm. I don't necessarily disagree with you. I'm just saying we can't state it as fact. We can only state as fact what we know for a fact. You have no idea what's the first 3 hours and 36 minutes of that video footage. It could be a sizzle reel. It could be one of their compilation footages. I tend to agree with you, but we can't state it as fact. We don't know. Thank goodness my last name doesn't start with a K. So many Ks, JFK, MLK. MLK, you got MLK in there twice. I think you meant RFK. CJK. Guys, let's get out of here. It's been a wonderful week. If you're going to be here for the member show, it'll probably be about the same time, maybe a little earlier, maybe closer to 1 tomorrow, but who knows, maybe 2. I can't imagine it starting later than that, but I think it'll be a fun one. I think it'll be a good one. I had a couple things in my mind that I wanted to talk about that are unrelated to this case and a little weirder. So I look forward to that one. That should be a fun one, in my opinion. I have a guest, I believe, lined up for next week. I'll let you know on that one. And it's been a long week. Check out the drop tomorrow, Julian Dory and Joseph Scott Morgan. The first episode we did together that dropped Monday did really well this week. And I expect that next one to do well as well. By doing really well, I mean people got out of it what I thought should come out of it. And I'm hoping tomorrow's episode with Joseph Scott Morgan on Julian Dory's channel, I'm hoping the same thing happens, that people watch it and the things that are extracted out of it are the real nuggets of value. Because I think there's some really good nuggets of value in that interview in terms of establishing what should have happened and what must have happened in order to meet even some bare semblance of a minimum standard. It'll be a really interesting, it'll be interesting to me to see how people receive it. I appreciate it, guys. The principal, I believe, is scheduled to come on at some point. I don't think she's put a time up yet. Let me check for you. Before we get out of here, I'll, oh, no, not Julian Dory. Candace Owens. She has put up a time, 6 p.m. So we got a half hour. We got a half hour to bio break, get a little bite to eat, stretch your legs, a couple of jumping jacks, maybe some deep squats. And then we watch the principal at 6 p.m. I'll be there. Shocking truth revealed in the 4K footage, she says. Beavis and Butthead send a messenger. Oh, this will be a fun one. Beavis and Butthead. She must be talking about Andrew and Blake. You know how they do it. You know how they are. Guys, have a wonderful weekend. See you guys members tomorrow. Don't forget. Here you are, almost forgetting. Jesus loves you. It's a fact, Jack. He does. Jesus loves you. Have a wonderful night, and I will see you guys either tomorrow if you remember or Sunday night.